That was such an epic professional fade on that music. Oh my gosh, this is like ITV or something around here. Oh my goodness. So professional, so smooth. Yes,
Booth
yes,
TV.
everybody. Yeah, what? Okay, yeah,
Booth TV, mate.
let's do the proper intro there. Otherwise, we just
Oh,
come across as unprofessional. Yeah.
oh right.
So we want to be a top professional, of course. Ready? Yes, yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, to the Cannabis Podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Billy Bonds.
Hello. Cornwall's all right this week, actually. It's not been too bad. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's been a normal rain. So, yeah, we're used to winter coming early. So, yeah, that's what's been happening here.
nice. Yeah, it's
But
been
I
a...
haven't been arrested. So,
Not
that's a
yet.
good thing.
As
Not
soon as
yet.
they
No.
see your X feed, bro, you're going
Yeah,
down for a long time.
Oh, I think so, for definitely.
Yeah, and special guest this week on the panel, we have Marco.
Hey, back at it. Appreciate
Yes.
y'all.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming to join us, bro. I don't think we've had you on the panel before, have we?
One time I did I think I had a lame news article though. I didn't
Oh,
get the
cool.
time.
Yeah, I remember. Now you've mentioned the lame news article. It rings a bell, you know?
Right.
But yeah, man, it's good to have you here, bro. Thanks for coming to join us, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
It's a privilege to have you come and chill with us and talk about some news. And of course, we've got
It's
some
my
good news
privilege.
articles to cover, you know? Sorry,
Yes,
Marco, you were saying.
no, that's my privilege, buddy. Don't overplay it, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's going to be a good show. We've got some very interesting news articles to be covering. We've got some news from Product Earth, which happened here in the UK, which we're not going to spoil it just yet. When we get onto the news section, we're going to talk about that. What other news articles, considering we're talking about the news articles, might as well have a quick run through of what we got here. We have Britain's quote-unquote black economy has taken over the high street. So this news article is insinuating that the black market in the UK makes more money than the legal market. I don't know about that, but also it wouldn't surprise me. But we'll take a look at that in a little bit. Just some like a public service announcement, a PSA. This news article is, anyways. Do cannabis users need more anesthesia during surgery? And we've covered something similar to this before, but I saw this news article pop up again, so I wanted to, of course, make sure that you're all aware of this kind of thing. But again, we'll get to that when we get to the news article. We have landlords risk breaching Equality Act over prescription cannabis. Because in the UK, if you are using cannabis, even legally as a medicine, and your landlord doesn't like it, you can be evicted from the property. So that seems to have been addressed by the recent parliament. Nominations for the Cannabis Industry Awards. And I noticed when I read that sentence earlier, that's the CIA, bro. I suddenly don't trust this shit. You know what I mean? Nominations open for the CIA? No, be skeptical. We'll look into that when we get there. And from Marco, we have cannabis use falls amongst teenage users in the US, but rises amongst everybody else. Nice. That's good. That's what we want to see. That's the kind of ratio you like to see, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, man. So some cool news articles there, but definitely eager to get into this news about Product Earth this week as well. Some bad stuff happened there, allegedly. But yes, we'll get there soon. We want to discuss before we move on, before we do go on to the news, what we're smoking this week. What did you say you had there, Marco? You got your IPA beer. What ganja are you smoking today?
I am smoking on my Miracle Fruit. This is one that I have selected, and it's one of my favorites. It's got a heavy mimosa flavor in there. It's almost like a
Okay.
juicy fruit bubble gum with the mimosa.
Nice. What you got there, Billy? You got some hash as usual?
Yeah, I do. I've got some London pound cake, which is
Mm.
really quite tasty, and
Damn.
but I've got some BSB Five Alive, which is a bubblegum cross, but it's really fruity bubblegum, and it's gorgeous. So I've got one of them with hash and one of them without. So I'm going to see which I prefer. So yeah,
Nice.
Wow.
good choice.
Yeah, I think you should have more participants in a study like that, you know? Jar that shit
Yeah,
up,
I think I
send it
should.
my way.
Yeah.
You didn't need a double blind study, shit like
The
that.
double blind, yeah, that's a good one actually. Double
You know what I
blind.
mean? You got to do it right, bro. You got to do it right.
Does,
So,
does that mean you have to put a mask on when you do it or not?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, bro. I know you like that gimp
Oh,
mask. I know you like that
exactly.
look.
Yeah, any excuse, isn't it? Really, just to put the mask on.
Yeah,
Really.
any excuse
Yeah.
for the snooker ball in the gob, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. You know the
Sorry,
guys in
Marco.
chat love it.
Yeah, Marco's like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys?
I like that. Put the snooker ball in the cup, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So
Get
I
it
think with
done.
that, are we ready? Should we move on to the news already? Because yeah, let's go straight on because I want to discuss this stuff that happened in product Earth, man. So let's do it. Let's go to the news.
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, so we had Matt Clifton on the show like a few weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. Cool guy. He's been on the show before, and he is the CEO of an event, a cannabis event that happens here in the UK every year called Product Earth. You should all know what it is if you've listened to the show for a while. But that took place this week, and unfortunately, it was shut down after for the second day. So they did the Saturday, I think, and then it was shut down. So Sunday didn't happen. Is that right, Billy?
Damn.
It seems so. Yep.
No, I mean,
Crazy.
Why
because
shut down? Is that the popo came and
um, well, from what and anything I say here, it's within 24 hours of all this happening, and we don't have a lot of information just yet. And we tried to get some in before the show, and we'll give you the information that we have, but it could just be massively inaccurate. So until we speak to Matt himself and we can find out what actually happened, then just take all of this with a pinch of salt, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But from what I've seen, the place what was the place called again? The drum sheds or something like that is where the
Yeah,
event was
something
taking
like that,
place,
yeah.
something like that. They got a report that somebody was selling cannabis flower on the premises, and they were told that they were in violation of Section 8, which is a statute or an act that we have here in the UK, and they were going to get fined or prosecuted if they continue to let this happen. So they had to shut the event down essentially. So it's still early time. Yeah, it's only been. I mean, it's today that it happened essentially. So the drum shields. Thank you, Fireman Sam 420. And people have had a
How
good
big
time
is
at
that
Product
event?
Earth. I'm not too sure actually. You went to last year, didn't you, Billy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how big? How many people you say was there?
I'm not sure the total numbers, but I'd say probably around 50,000 probably went to the event
Oh, wow.
from what I've seen from like football events, if you know what I mean, on the 2 days.
Mhm.
So I assume it'd be around them numbers. In London, possibly similar, just because it's London. But again, London's a bit like a lot of people didn't go because it's London, because it's like the most stabbiest, dirtiest, filthiest place you could put it on, really.
Oh
Now, when you
gosh,
go, can I ask you a question? So when
of
you go
course.
to one of these joints, like say this one, for instance, last year, when you're in there, is it just everyone's blazing freely like as they want, or what's that
Okay,
looking like?
to explain the venue, last year it had like an indoor hallway, which probably had most like 100 stalls in, but it had a massive outdoor area. It had camping. There was grounds to walk around, so there's a lot of space for people to commune, smoke weed outside, and all that. And because of that, people respected the not smoking indoors because there was just so much to do outdoors and smoke.
Nice.
So it wasn't
Mhm.
inconvenient, if you know what I mean. But it
Mhm.
seems this venue is a little bit smaller, more tight knit, so people were just like smoking everywhere because there wasn't really anywhere else to smoke, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like it's just again poor venue choice, poor choices from the organisers as far as I'm concerned, ignoring the community, getting bad sponsors. A lot of people saying he deserves it for this sort of type of thing. It's just like listen to his own pocket and ego rather than
I don't know about
listen
that.
to the
These are
community.
they're expensive events to put on, you know, and it's
Yeah,
shit that this happened, but it's shit to see that it's been
but
closed down
again,
like this.
he moved it from an almost perfect venue, which he could have worked on the venue and what he done with it, yeah, and worked with the community to make it bigger and better there where it was, because he could have expanded it to become a Glastonbury where it was, but to move it to London to make it all corporate and to make it all stalls, it's like no, that's and the sponsors Cureleaf who fought against bloody home growers, so it's like no bollocks, like. Are you just going to ignore the community and then take the money off of it? It's like that's what's fucking going wrong. You know what I mean? If people don't speak up and say no, fuck yous, this is my opinion, then well, this is why we're in this position. People need to have their opinion and speak about it. Don't be quiet.
Jesus, Billy,
Damn.
say what you really think, bro. God.
Exactly, I do.
But anyway,
Heck,
so
if it went well, they would do another one.
well,
and
it
repeat
seems to
that.
have gone well. I mean, we've got Hashimoto in the chat said I had a great time, friendly and fun. And I've had messages from people as well saying that it was good, but the good thing about it was the community aspect. You know, meeting your friends that you've met at other cannabis events. And
It's
shit
the
like
community will make this fucking event, not the stalls and that. The stalls can be gone online, all the stuff. Obviously, seeing it all there in your face is really nice, and it's a good vibe to be. But everyone can fuck off to Barcelona for that exactly same thing. And now Germany, EasyJet prices are cheaper than the fucking train tickets and to drive for about in the UK and to get hotel rooms.
True story.
They don't understand,
True
the
story.
expense of getting there. London is one of the most dangerous cities. Coming out of there, people would have been robbed, stabbed, coming out there late at night, knowing you've got cannabis on you. It's like, what the fuck?
It's
like
not that bad.
everyone,
Surely it's not that bad.
What? Fuck off. Coming out. If you come out of that venue late at night, last night, you would have been a target. If any of the smart criminals out there, they would have been watching you, knowing that you were coming out there with cannabis on you. Yeah. So you would have been a target. Yeah. It's like people just don't think about these sort of fucking things at all. And these would have been disabled people coming out of these venues.
Yeah, people with prescriptions for it. Yeah.
Yeah, prescription people. Yeah, people in wheelchairs. There's an 80-year-old man in a wheelchair got beaten up in this country, fucking within the last few days. Yeah.
Yeah, but Gilbert said in the chat he closes at 7, Billy.
Yeah, but there's still 7 in London. It's still dangerous. It's still dark out there at almost 7 o'clock. So people are going to be hanging about. It's like it's what people are coming out with in London. How long does it take to get home?
Anyway,
you can be people follow you in these places. I'm sorry, but it's a really poor venue choice. I rant over.
And that's it. I want. That's it. Let's move on from the rant, man. Chill. Just smoke some fucking weed. You got ash or something, Billy? Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I was wondering if this. Well, it has been cancelled. So are vendors going to get refund? Are people going to get refund on their tickets?
Right.
What kind of a financial effect is this going to have? And does this mean that this is the end of Product Earth? I wonder if they'll be back next year, or whether this is just being too much of a challenge for them.
Well, will they get vendors? Because if you got a 3-day pass as a vendor, and now I've only sold 1/3 of what I was going to sell because it was shut down, after one day. Now who gets fucked? And then do I come back? So these kind of things those are big questions for the future of his event. You know what I mean?
And I think this is like Product Earth number 8 or something, and they've previously done it in Coventry, Marco, which is a different city outside of London. And it seems to have been pretty popular. This is their first year in London, and this is how this crap has happened, man. It's shit. I hope that they can figure it all out and maybe go back to Coventry where they were. The grass isn't always greener. They learn things as they go along. Matt seems like a good guy, man. I don't think any of this is intentional. It's just everybody. Like I was speaking to somebody earlier, and pretty much there's no winners in this situation. It's just everybody gets fucked up after this, and this is the problem. We can point our anger at Product Earth and everybody who was there at the time or whatever, but essentially this is the problem with the government, man. This is just a small event considering the size of some of the events we see in the USA, you know what I mean, which are completely legal and not shut down by the police like this was.
Right.
And it's this is the government's fault. This shouldn't have been shut down. Everybody should have had a nice weekend spending time smoking cannabis, even with THC in, at the event as adults who can make these decisions for ourselves. And I think it's fucked that it got shut down, man. It's absolute bullshit.
What level did it get shut down at? And because that's that's what I'd like to know.
Also, Chilbert points out all the other stuff, like the 90-minute queue to get in, 4 security guards to search like 5,000 people at a time, the strict searches, confiscating people's weed, like an £80 apes inside to buy and stuff like that. It's like it's not aimed at the people and the user. It's a commercial event. We don't want commercial events no more. We want a community event. And that's what he's done. He's just turned a community event into a commercial event, pure money-making scheme with security, frisking everyone.
But the thing is as well,
community.
I know that it's a money-making scheme, but to what extent? There's a team to pay for, and he shared a picture of the electricity bill on just Saturday, and it was like 42 grand. Yeah, but maybe this is what he had to do to make sure Product Earth does keep on running. You know, I don't want to be like an apologist, but I can see the position in what he's in. Maybe he needs to make more money to keep it running. Things are expensive in the UK, you know, so you have to be able to have more people arrive at a location. He thought that was a better option. He explains it all in the interview that we had, man. You know, I just think he's trying to do what's best, and the community needs events like this. And if people have to make a bit of money on the side to make sure that these events do happen, then that's the way it has to be. I don't think £35 for a ticket was too expensive for the kind of event that it is. If you go to Comic-Con and things like that, you know, just different people have these different interests. You're paying similar
So
prices.
seeds available?
Yeah, there would have been seeds available. I think there was a herb available. But it would have been for people with prescriptions only. You know, because we have this medical thing in the UK. But again, we're pointing the blame in the wrong direction. You know, the blame and the anger needs to be directed in the right location, and that is at the government. This should not be happening. This needs to be a legalized activity. You know, we should be able to consume cannabis as much as we fucking like as consenting adults. That's the way I feel about it.
Now, one thing I will say, you know, and I don't know anything about it, guys, except for what I just heard. But what I'll say is this: on the side of my man Billy, is that if it was a great event last year, it went well, no issues, right? It was in a different city.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be pissed off if that guy said, "Oh, well, I'll cheapen things up. I'll do less security this year. I'll do less bag checks this year because that's more money in my pocket." If he did those kind of things, then it's his own fault if it got shut down. Because if it was my event, I would probably step security up again next year to say, "All right, I want another smooth event. I want everybody getting through there nicely, no bullshit." So, though I can get it both ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a shit situation for everybody. Like we say, there are no winners, man. There are no winners in this one, unfortunately. I just hope you know, everybody had a good time. Those who did go, I hope you all had a good time. Anyway, don't let this be a downer on the whole situation, because that wouldn't be cool. Okay, you know, I've met with loads of people in the community, people in the chat here when we went to Barcelona and shit, and they're all good people, man. And it's, you know, I would hate to think that their time was ruined because of
To
it being
shut it
shut down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's bullshit because
Sad.
you know, anybody can go buy a dime bag at any event like that or any concert or any kind of most social gathering. You know what I'm saying? So if you really wanted to shut it down, that is on the police, you know, for even being that aggressive towards it and not, you know, embracing it more, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we'll find out more, everybody, because it's still early, and I'd like to get Matt on himself to find out what actually happened as well. So I've reached out to him. I'm sure he's got many other things to be dealing with right now than coming on the show to chat to us. But hopefully we can get him in a week or two when things have settled down and find out what happened, man, and find out what happens in the future for Product Earth. Sad news, because we need more cannabis events in the UK, and this what has happened here could prevent other events from doing their own thing, because they'll be like, oh no, they'll get shut down. You see Product Earth get shut down, they're a huge event, but we can't do a little event. It's just, you know, we're gonna get fucked. So,
and you better be quiet or you get locked up. You know, so.
bad times, man, bad times. So anyway, other news, because we have other news articles to cover. What should we do first? I think I did have this all. Yeah, let's do this. Britain's black economy has taken over the high street, and then when I look at this article further, it's one of those you have to pay to read it, and I'm not paying to read it. You know, I'm not supporting this mainstream media, you know. But organized criminals have found an easy foothold in the UK where regulation is lax and enforcement nearly non-existent. Yeah, so I thought we'd briefly mention this anyway. A lot of people use cannabis here in the UK, Marco. I'm not sure if you're aware. But but it's like
Good people.
but it is essentially illegal. I mean, you can get it for your medicinal use, but you have to jump through some hoops, and you can even suffer consequences then, you know. It's essentially illegal, and all of the cannabis purchases in this country essentially just go to organized crime. You know the consequences, preaching to the choir, you know. I mean, you don't need to explain all of that, but there's big consequences to this shit, and one of them is a lot of money just flowing into the hands of organized crime. And not like I believe in tax or anything like that, but it's a good argument to be Like, but bro, this should be legalized and taxed. You'll be making billions and putting that back into the schools and the hospitals
Right.
and all this shit. We've just seen high streets all over the UK, which is like downtown. I don't know, just a small area with a few shops. Call it the high street. Yeah. Well, the shops closing down all the time. The economy's not doing too good, and when them shops close down, quite often they'll be filled up with people who go and do illegal cannabis grows. You see this all the time, ain't it, Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, plus,
Oh,
Well, go ahead.
go on, Marco.
No, well, this leads me to a quick question that I thought about before, after we had our last show. Who, like, when I was younger, it was like Mexican weed would come into the United States. Who supplies Europe? Is it amongst your each country, or is it like another country? Like, who's that? Mexico for you?
a lot of the stuff just gets grown in the UK right
Okay.
now. Here
Most
in
of
the
it,
UK.
Originally, it all come from Holland. Pretty much
Yeah.
95% of it come from Holland. Then some of it started to come from Spain, being shipped in, and then a lot of it got caught. And obviously, we had Moroccan hash, but literally over the past sort of like over 5 to 10 year period, it just completely switched. An entire market switched to completely like European grown was grown in each country of origin almost. So everything in Italy was grown in Italy, everything in Spain was grown in Spain, the UK was UK.
Gotcha.
There was hardly any export.
Yeah.
Some
Well, but
export and
then
some swapping, but mostly everything become sort of homegrown. And that's when the illegal cartels started to take over all the cities and the markets. They used all the Telegram apps and all the other things, WhatsApp and all that to trade on, Instagram and all that as well, sort of stuff. So it's sort of become like a cartel market for that reason, really. So
it's not the home grower, so that's
no,
the
like
problem.
Mackie said, that they're taking over like old bingo halls, old shops, and whole rows of shops, and smashing walls through of places and hooking up electric and all sorts. So yeah, it's a real crazy industry in the UK at the minute. About
Does
2 million
that-
people use cannabis at the minute in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
So
would say that
that's
was a fair estimate. Yeah, say about 2
That's a
million.
lot of grams. Like say that's 1 million grams a week at least. Then what needs to be supplied.
Definitely on average 1 gram per person per day.
Yeah, that's what I
Definitely.
mean. So yeah, so you're talking a lot of weed needs to be grown in the UK just for the UK alone. Which is why we do import stuff, some from like Spain.
And
some from
70% of it
France.
is Star Dog.
Yeah, most of it's sort of like we still get sort of so-called Cali weed. A lot of it's just grown in someone's bedroom or basement and put in bags. Some of it is Cali weed, but it's
Is that
crap
preferred,
Cali
though?
weed.
When y'all see that, is that preferred? Like,
It is because it's got like a name and people are gullible, aren't they? They think it's better
Okay.
because it's got the label. It's like a label, but it's like no,
And it
the
comes
best
in a
weed
little
is your
tin.
own homegrown. Yeah, yeah, your own homegrown. Spank it all over. It's like whenever a proper home grower gives away any of their weed to someone who smokes like black market or legacy market, what you call it, weed, they're like, "Wow, man, that's like really good weed." I'm like, yeah, I know, because like I grew it. You just don't notice it, Marco, because you grow your own and smoke your own. But you
I
must
get
know
it
some.
though. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it
yeah.
because when I travel, I like to see what's in that area. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You like
I
to
never
test.
smoke other people's shit, but when I travel, sometimes I do because I want to see, and
Mhm.
so I get what you're saying because a lot of times it's like, man, if I had, some of the stuff, my buddies grow or, they would really love that, you know what I mean? And I think it's just like over here where the consumer just isn't educated enough to understand that, man, that stuff that maybe just that guy's growing wherever in his basement or something could be some of the better quality that's out there anywhere. And they just, that's the gap over here, I know.
Also, you've
It's
got
just-
like say, like, just to make this point, you've got like a let us say 25-year-olds out there who've been smoking for 10 years now or more, but they've only been smoking like the street weed as such available. They didn't smoke all the original Dutch skunk. So they wouldn't really know what proper fucking weed is. And only some people who've gone to Amsterdam and then smoked proper weed would then know what proper weed is, if you get what I mean. So until they're introduced to proper weed, they wouldn't really know what it is. So especially even shit Cali weed to them would be really good. So it's knowing the market you're in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
this is-
important to
education
smoke
again.
other people's shit too, because if you stay in your own little hole and you think, yeah, I just got the fire. Well, if you go out there, sometimes you realize, damn, I need to step my game up, you know,
Yeah,
and
they
all.
weren't the fire. Yeah, that's why I
Right,
like giving like a few grams away to people randomly here and there.
right.
Say like, smoke that, man, and and don't tell them nothing about it, and then let them report back to me. Oh man, where did you get that from? That was brilliant, sort of thing,
No doubt.
or a nothing. So that's the best way to do it. Is just to give a random person, some weed sometime.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
get them
but
hooked.
honest,
You know,
yeah,
get them hooked on the devil
yes,
cannabis.
give them a free one, and then they can come back and pay loads.
What if they get psychosis? You know.
Oh, fuck that.
But anyway, yeah, I'm just. It would be an interesting, get what do they call it, back of the envelope kind of a math problem you could do. I'm just trying to figure out just how much the UK government could make from tax revenue of legalizing and regulating cannabis properly. I wonder how much it is.
$1 billion.
That's right. Yeah, billion, easy. Well, that would be my estimation, but I'd like to get that envelope out sometime and figure it out.
Right.
Let us know what you all think in the chat, everybody. How much can the UK make every year just in tax revenue? Yeah, let us know.
So that's even worse, Mackie, because listen, our country it's not legal everywhere, right? But it's broken up and parts of it is, and parts of it are making money. So for your whole country not to even give any of it an option, that either says they have enough money for themselves or they don't give a fuck if you guys have some more money. You know what I mean? And that's the bad thing. I don't, that's the bad thing about the government, you know.
I would say find a state in America what's got the same size population as the UK, and then see how much money they make, and then that'd be very similar, I
There
suppose.
you go. It'd be easy math, and I'm
California's
sure
close, isn't it?
someone's done that.
California is on about 60 million, I think.
Is
Surely.
it
I don't
67,
know.
60 to 80 million? I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at their voting records.
Yeah, but the percent of smokers in Cali is going to be way higher.
Yeah, that's going to be high
Yeah.
smoking. Yeah, that's going to be unbalanced. Yeah, you need somewhere a bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but anyway,
see what-
let's not get it all into maths and shit. Let's go on
Right.
to let's go on to the next news article. That's what we should do.
Right.
And
I
this
don't have
one
a
is
calculator.
we'll figure it out later, everybody, in the smoke break. So we have this one from Billy. So some shit about landlords, because here I suppose just in the UK for now, but your landlord can evict you if you consume cannabis in the property. Because they're like, oh, it smells or whatever. So they can just even if you're using it legally prescribed from a doctor, and you make the house stink of weed, then you can still get evicted for it. So this has been addressed by Parliament. Billy, you want to have a look at this one?
So this is a landlord's risk breaching the Equality Act over the prescription cannabis. So again, it's prescription cannabis, so you probably need a piece of paper to say you got it and legal stuff again, but it's a step in the right direction because they're covering actual law here, which says that landlords, property managers and housing associations are currently at risk of breaching the Equality Act over their approach to prescription cannabis, according to a new Cannabis Industry Council report. So the report's entitled "The Use of Prescription Cannabis in Buildings." So, like, obviously, any building, including your dwelling, is a building. I suppose that this would class for work as well, because it's obviously medicine, and this is what they're reporting on. So the report reminds housing providers of their obligations under Equality Act 2010, which prohibits discrimination based on the disability and various medical conditions obviously qualify for this. So that depends on the doctor. So the report states that the housing providers must ensure reasonable accommodations are available to tenants and leaseholders. This includes allowing the use of prescribed medical cannabis within the confines of a tenant's private space and ensuring privacy and confidentiality, which means basically as soon as you close the door or in your garden, you can smoke cannabis and they can't say or do nothing because it's your right to privacy. And they can't tell anyone else because that's your confidentiality. They're breaching your medical confidentiality. So it's actually, so this goes against actual laws and we've got protections on that. So furthermore, the report notes that any rental agreement provision prohibiting or significantly restricting the possession and consumption of prescribed cannabis would be discriminatory. This could lead to a housing provider being taken to court or added to the road landlord database. Wow. So, So again, this seems like a good thing because it's laying out basically the report, the acts of law which cover you because you're actually using a prescribed drug, which is medication under the Medications Act. So it's sort of laying that out that you're covered by law, which you should be as any user of medications. The problem again is the prescription cannabis label. So if you're a recreational user, then you're not a prescription user, but then you could claim discrimination on them grounds as well, like a double discrimination. Then, well, what makes you different to the other person apart from having a piece of paper? You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous, isn't it, man?
Yeah,
like we say, you paid the necessary fee to the necessary person, and now you're allowed to do it. That's just essentially a fucking bribe, man.
You paid your bribe. Yeah, here's my piece of paper to show off.
If you don't pay this fee, we're gonna have people come around your house and make you homeless.
Yeah. We're gonna smash your doors in, nick your stuff, and then make you homeless, basically. Yeah.
But if you pay this fee and do the exact same thing, it's all good.
Yeah. If you pay the fee and buy the weed off our mate next door who I have shares in, then that's all good. Yeah. You're getting it now, Marco. Welcome to the UK.
Welcome to the UK.
I got a lot of questions though, because
ask questions, man, and feel free to ask if you have questions, bro.
This kind of shit is like going by subjective things, like smell. Like I smell something, like I'm glad they did away with that, because I mean that's just ridiculous.
So now that's my dog done a fart. You know what dog farts smell like? They're proper filth.
Sometimes they smell real cheesy,
Yeah.
Right.
Remember that dog shit cheese? You know what I mean? Yeah. The cheese that smells like dog shit. Damn.
My dog ate a skunk and now it's farting skunk smell.
Yeah.
It's a bit fruity skunk. Yeah.
What's that smell? That's mind your own fucking business smell.
Yeah. That's do you want it or not?
Anyway.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, back to the report. So the report author said the housing providers must treat prescription cannabis patients like any other medical patients, and indeed should take steps to ensure patients can consume their medication at home, which is where it is. It's their home. So where else are they going to consume their medication? It's just stupid. We urge landlords and housing associations to proactively engage with tenants and leaseholders to ensure that they do not discriminate against patients with disabilities, which obviously you are if you're using medical cannabis. So
it's a good step, man. This needs to be done.
Yeah.
It must be scary for people,
I've always said this to all the avocation groups that they need to do this. It's like because people are losing their home because they got smoking cannabis. It's stupid. People in wheelchairs losing their home. It's like, just for fuck's sake, what's going on? Well, we live in the UK, you know what's going on. So anyway, to carry on, the Cannabis Industry Council will be engaging with housing providers to help them understand their legal obligations and support their tenants and leaseholders, which is a good thing. Well, they need support in this area. So we believe it will be proportionate for landlords who continue to deny patients their basic rights to be added to the rogue landlord database or indeed taken to court, which I think they should be taken to court. Get agencies like the CIC to get lawyers to back them up as well, so they don't have less to worry about. You know what I mean? They don't need to worry about gathering their own evidence and shit like that. Some top barrister can just walk in and go blah blah blah, sorted, done, one case, and then it's law, isn't it? The report also provides guidance for patients to help them understand their legal rights and to navigate this complex area. The report has been reviewed by a lawyer, Robert Jaffrey, again, it helps them understand their legal rights and to navigate the complex. They shouldn't. It's like their lawyer should be able to do it all quite simply. Like, why can't they just give simple paperwork that's all done, dusted? It's like
seems like Robert a lot of hassle when they could just be like, okay, we're legalizing and regulating cannabis, and they'd be like, okay, no problem, all done, no problem, sorted.
Yeah, it's sorted. Yeah, it's like all this complex bullshit from lawyers and stuff when they could just change the law quite simply, regulate it, done, and there'd be no need for all this bullshit and drag him.
Maybe that's it. They'll let all this go through. Loads of lawyers get money. Yeah. More money for, and then eventually, when everybody's all good, okay, legalize it now. It's all good.
Yeah, when everybody's had enough, when everyone's got a big yacht, you mean, and a Ferrari or something. Well, Tesla's now.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah, sorry, allegedly. Yeah, I like that word. The allegedly is the best word.
It's best to just throw it out there now and again. Just when you're saying random things, just say allegedly.
Right.
Yeah.
Scary shit. Yes, but at least this is going to take, it's a big weight off people's shoulders when they feel like they can use their medicine and not worry about, losing their home. That's some crazy shit, man. I can't believe it's taken this long. But this isn't passed yet, is it? Has it passed already, or is it still in the process
No,
of being passed?
this basically this is just a layout from a lawyer and a report. So basically saying if you get in trouble with your landlord and all that, read this report, hand it to them,
Okay.
and then try to fight it. I suppose contact the CIC, see if they can help you. But yeah, basically it's just a report to help you and to then push the guy. It's like for lobbyists to then start use the report as evidence that shit needs to be changed. But yeah, no laws have been changed. It's just Robert Jappy, who's done other stuff like this before on cannabis, has just written up shit to say, well, this is what needs to be done. These are your rights.
Yeah. Let's see if
This
we can
is
get
how
him on the
yeah.
show. Let's see, Robert
Yeah,
Jappy.
yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
You gotta at
he
least
was-
be able to grow plants, man. They gotta let y'all grow 4 plants.
That's going to be the
Some-
most difficult thing, Marco. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they might legalize so we can go and buy it recreationally at some point.
Yeah.
But the home growth thing, we live in a nanny state, man, and it's only getting worse.
Well-
I'd be like, too risky of
So it's
fire.
the
There might be
neighbors?
mold.
It's
Sorry.
more the neighbors, you're saying? Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, what you mean?
Like why?
Complaining.
Okay? So if you can grow, we can all grow 4 plants, right?
Mhm.
My neighbor next door, they don't smoke weed, so they don't want to grow there for whatever, right? So what is it about it? Is it just they're still going
Oh
to be
no,
little
because
bitches and
we probably
complain
wouldn't grow
about it?
outdoors. I mean, maybe you would when it's we don't get good summertime sometimes.
Indoor.
So yeah, we'll be growing indoors, and in those cases, they'll be like, oh, it can increase the risk of mold. It can increase the risk of fire, so we're not going to allow you to do that. That would definitely be their approach. They don't want us home growing.
I got you. Because some people are idiots, obviously, but these days, man, the technology, so you don't have to rig up lights and shit.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
just made it legal, all these
Mhm.
lights, everything's so nice now. You just fucking get a nice grow setup.
Yep.
And you
But the
do your
government
thing
ain't gonna
safely.
understand that.
I
you know,
know, that's terrible,
They
man.
still
It's
think
fucked up.
kids will walk up to it and take chunks out of it like an apple. They're ridiculous, man.
Right.
Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, interesting story there. But
Well,
we
one
should.
sec, just
yeah,
I
Billy.
need to add something here because it says
Okay.
at the bottom, since 2018, so 6 years ago now, specialist doctors have been
Jesus.
allowed to prescribe cannabis medicines to their patients, but then are legally allowed to possess and consume this medicine. But on another note, the only legally one available, which is Epidiolex at the moment, you can't. There isn't a doctor in the UK who will prescribe it to anyone to an adult. Yeah, so you might be able to get it, but no doctors will prescribe it because they just won't do it.
Mhm.
The Cornwall NHS Trust has said they won't do it and they won't touch Epidiolex.
So where are
If you
they
go
getting
somewhere
these
else.
licenses from? Where are they getting the licenses from now? The medical guys.
They can get the license. The doctors and the trusts are not you choosing to use cannabis. It's got nothing to do with the law. It's now the doctors who are refusing to use it. Yeah, so they're the issue. The doctors are the fucking problem.
Not one
There's no
doctor
not
using it.
one doctor in the UK at the moment will prescribe someone who's over 18 Epidiolex.
But what I'm saying is no doctor in the UK has ever smoked a joint. Like
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. It is just absolutely crazy. The laws, the system in the UK is just a pile of wank.
Yes.
They don't make you want to be a tourist there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the things that's been after all the riots and shit as well. We've got a lot of shit going on in the UK right now, but people are less likely to come here because they're scared. But anyway, that's a different topic altogether. Do you want to talk about your article now, Marco? You want to go to yours?
Yeah. Mine is it's just something I thought was interesting, and I think it leads to other questions. Cannabis use falls amongst U.S. teenagers, but rises among everyone else. A study shows.
Nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it says this new study found cannabis in the U.S. has been increasing, but not amongst teenagers. The research, which looked at data on more than 500,000 people's cannabis habits during different time periods from 2013 to 2022, it was published in this month's edition of Drug and Alcohol Dependence Reports. Also revealed that cannabis use had increased among Americans household earning more than 75K per year, as well as those with college degrees. So damn, just that first sentence, like that's just interesting because, it seems like when you were a kid, you would, you know, would from when I was a kid to now, you think more kids would do it because it'd be easier to get. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but apparently not. And
You're
then the
allowed to do
article,
it now. It's not so fun. That's the thing.
yeah, that's
Because
right. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
it's about rebelling when you're a teenager. I think that's one of the big parts of it. I mean, you still do alcohol, and alcohol's
Mhm.
legal and shit, so it's not so rebellious, but still, it is rebellious to do.
It is,
But
no
we
doubt.
discussed this many times, man, and we say quite often that people don't want to be like, "Oh, that's Grandpa's medicine," you know.
Hmm.
Why are you smoking Grandpa's medicine? It's not the same as it used to be. You know what I mean?
Right, and no doubt that it does take some. I guess it takes some of that edge off and the availability of, if snacks are laying around all the time, you might not eat as many snacks because it's just always there. So I can understand
Mm-mm.
that.
Can I just
So
point
they
out something
go
here?
ahead.
The data is 500,000 people as well. That's like a really large data pool as well. It's normally like a couple of thousand or
Mm-hmm.
hundreds. This is like
Yeah, yeah.
500,000 people is a big data pool to get this from. So it sort of shows you this is very good report data that for that
Yeah,
amount. Yeah.
I thought that too. I was like, damn, 500,000. That is a lot. Um, so it says they use data from the National Survey on Drug and Health, National Survey on Drug Use and Health. And we really just estimated the prevalence of use. So there's a little bit of estimation in there. It says Devon Mattingly, a behavioral science professor at University of Kentucky, the lead guy of the study. So they did, I guess they filled in a little bit of the blanks, and I can get that. But they also examined trends in current cannabis use, which was defined as any use in the past 30 days, as well as prevalence patterns and trends in use by age, gender, race, ethnicity, educational attainment, and total annual family income. Okay, so they broke it down pretty well too, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he said he was surprised to learn that teen cannabis use had remained stagnant during this period. He had expected to see an increase, like I just said, kind of I would. Um, and then still, he said this data might not tell us everything. The study looked at youth from 12 to 17 as one category, partly because more specific data could violate the confidentiality of minors. Okay, so I'm wondering where he got all that data, being able
Mm-hmm.
to, ask the kids that kind of stuff. Um, and one thing I was thinking about before we go farther, the first thing that came to my mind is it because they're more into like pills and shit now,
Oh,
because
I
of
hope
over
not.
here, that's huge. I hope
Yeah,
not too, dude.
yeah. It's not
Um,
you don't want your kids doing weed either, but out of everything, you want them to be
right,
safe at least. Oh,
exactly.
damn.
So and he goes on to say if we were able to disaggregate the data a little more and look at changes between like middle to high school youth, for example, we may see an increase. Okay, so if he could break it down further. Recent CDC data found that cannabis use decreased amongst high schoolers from 23% using it in 2013 to 17% in 2023. I think that zone right there is pills, because
Mm.
man, pills are very prevalent over here, man. It's terrible.
And it's also it depends how they worded it as well, because smoking cannabis and vaping cannabis is two completely different things.
That's true.
And
And then
maybe
I
these
mean they're
kids
lying.
they're more likely to be vaping cannabis than smoking it nowadays, I think.
True.
With these
That's what.
THC carts and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Edibles as well. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how they broke that down, but anyway, it still sounds it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on to say, is it possible that state level legalization has curtailed teen cannabis use because recreational dispensaries are strictly forbidden from selling to anyone under 21 and are often required to scan IDs to make sure they are authentic, unlike many bars and liquor stores. So is it the access to cannabis maybe
Mm-hmm.
the reason why it's declining?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Jordan Getz, a postal postdoctoral fellow at the Rutgers Center of Alcohol and Substance use studies said there could be other factors at play. For example, the pandemic influenced substance use trends. We saw a sharp decline in cannabis use amongst teens during the pandemic, likely due to several factors such as less time with peers and increased time with parental supervision. Right, they couldn't get away from parents. That's funny that like they said that. The other day I was just riding along and I see this kid and it's like he's in his house shoes and he's going to take the dog out. And right as he's turning his corner to go down the trail, he's like pulling a bowl out of his pocket. And I was like, those were the days, man, trying to sneak out, burn one.
Yeah, no problem. I'll walk the dog.
Let me take the dog out. He gotta go poop. So anyway, going on this. So yeah, if you're around the parents a lot, you might not be getting stoned as much. Teenagers seem to be using fewer illicit substances in general. For example, alcohol use and vaping have both decreased amongst 8th and 12th graders since 2020. So I don't think this decrease in cannabis prevalence amongst teens is specifically due to cannabis legalization, but is rather more reflective of a broader trend in post-pandemic substance use, that said. Okay, so all right, so kids in general are doing less bad shit. Like my buddy's son, he's like 21 now. He doesn't do shit. Like he doesn't like he barely drinks, he's 21. He doesn't like smoking. Some of these kids are just
Bet he
really
loves
not
them energy
doing that.
drinks though.
Ah, yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Good point.
Every generation has their thing, man. It's energy
My
drinks,
lawyer said
the
that.
energy drinks and vaping. That's the thing for the kids nowadays. They're not smoking and not drinking alcohol, but they're drinking Monster, allegedly. Don't want to get
Yes.
sued. They're drinking Monster and they're vaping shit instead of smoking and drinking beer, man. That's just the way it is.
Like
I
my
think so, anyway.
lawyer said, he said, you got to do something. I was like, I don't drink. He said, well, what do? You got to do something, So
We
that
all have a
ain't
vice, innit?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Um, and then it says, while teens may be abstaining more, the studies numbers on income and educational attainment show that people with higher socioeconomic status are now more likely to use cannabis. Okay. So use amongst people in higher income households and those with college degrees have more than doubled. Only about 4% of people with college degree used cannabis in 2013, while nearly 13% did in 2022.
Wow.
Awesome.
Mm.
Amongst people in household earning 75K or more, 6% used cannabis in 2013, while 13 did in 2022. So I like that trend. I mean, right? I mean, amongst especially adults, professionals,
Mm-hmm.
and even the kids too, man. I mean, hey, it's fine. Get your brain developed. You'll have time to smoke once you start making money. Smoking is what you do when you're have your shit's taken care of, and
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Hopefully.
Uh, hopefully.
Yeah.
Uh, so and then it says now that cannabis is legalized product in many states, we see celebrities and professional athletes endorse cannabis products. We see it all the time, fucking weed with a stamp of a celebrity on it.
Mm-mm.
So she said, dispensaries popping up in expensive neighborhoods now and near college campuses might also attract people from high income demographics. That's good. We want the stigma taken away of it.
That's
That's
right, man.
fine.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
smoking a fucking joint or a blunt and sitting there playing Call of Duty for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Not
Going
hurting
out to eat
nobody.
is expensive.
Yeah, it is. Supporting the local economy,
You know what I'm
food
saying?
and snacks. Yeah. So yeah, then Mattingly says that increased access to medical cannabis might also explain some changes because higher income is correlated with access to healthcare. That's deep. So even on the cannabis level, now that you have more money, now you're in the medical cannabis.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and then I'll finish it up. And and in states that have legalized medical cannabis use, he added, you may see that oftentimes that especially older adults may be using cannabis to combat pain. That's key. Another finding that stood out to Mattingly was that cannabis use was highest amongst non-Hispanic, multiracial people compared toward other races and ethnicities. Over 25% of people in this category, which is rarely highlighted in scientific research, used cannabis in 2022. I believe that the population density of multiracial folk in the US is increasing, so naturally we conduct more observational research over time. We're going to see more representation of a multiracial group. He said these folks need to be included in more research. In the past, you don't see it as often. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting, man. So we've gone up. The long story short is 25% of folks are kind of using cannabis now versus,
Damn,
I mean, less.
that's hefty.
So that's good. Interesting.
Yeah, man, good news article. And, you know, it's always good as well to see, as I mentioned, you know, it's good to see use rising. More people smoking weed is usually a good thing because people are more chilled. You know what I mean? Like, remember Bill Hicks said, you know, it should be mandatory. You should smoke weed before you leave the house in the morning so you're not so much of a dick, you know?
Mm.
One of those. But obviously, you can't force people to do it, but people should definitely have the option to, you
If
know
it
what I mean?
works for you, no doubt. And
Mm-hmm.
some people have tried it and it's not for them.
That's right, man.
Um, and that's fine because everything's not for everybody. But those who it helps and who it's for, they should
Mm-hmm.
have access. And we all know, Mackie, and when you get a good, smoke and it's a good nighttime and it's narcotic, I mean, that can really knock you out and really help you just go to sleep. Like
Mm-hmm.
we all know there's benefits to it. And just simply that over a sleeping pill, you know what I mean? You get stoned and then go to sleep, right? And then sleep
Mm-hmm.
it off and you're good. Um, so I don't know. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but those to me are basic things, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating, that it's not like that everywhere.
One day we can dream.
Yeah.
But we have this public service announcement about, it's just a short article here, but I quickly want to go through. It's from medscape.com. Do cannabis users need more anesthesia during surgery? And apparently, yes, you do. So if anybody's going to have surgery soon, especially when they anesthetics and shit like that, then it's better to let whichever healthcare professional that you're seeing, let them know that you're a cannabis user. You know, don't try and hide it and shit, and because you might get in trouble, or you know, it's better being alive and in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Don't fucking mess around when it comes to your health like that. Cannabis does make a difference with anesthetics. So let's just have a quick look here. Cannabis users aged 65 years or older undergoing general anesthesia for surgery required higher doses of inhalation anesthetics than non-users. However, the clinical relevance of this difference remains unclear. And this is a scary thing as well. You see, quick tangent, kind of tangent. You see these fucking stories of people who had surgery, but they wasn't given enough anesthetic. So though they
Oh my
couldn't feel
God.
any pain, they were conscious during the surgery. Sorry, everybody, I don't mean to freak you all out. Trigger warning, trigger warning. But damn, that's a thing, man. Have you seen any of those cases? That freaks me out.
Man, that
Freaks
happened
me
to
out.
me. Shit.
Oh shit, did it really?
I cut my finger, not to that depth of level, but I cut my finger tendon pretty bad, my top knuckle, and they had to do surgery. So it was one of those surgeries where you're still awake, but they kind of got your arm over there and there's a
Mm.
curtain up, on your arm. You can't see them doing it. And so I'm sitting there like gritting my teeth, like this hurts like a motherfucker. And the nurse looks at me and she's like, "You're not feeling anything, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this hurts like this hurts like crazy." And I was a young, tough guy at the time, you're young. And she's like, "No, you shouldn't be feeling anything." So she hurried up and pumped something over there into it. And I was like, she's like, "How about
Damn,
now?" I was like, "No, I'm good." But yeah, man, it was crazy.
damn. Was you smoking weed back then?
Uh Allegedly.
Allegedly, I understand.
Allegedly, yeah.
We'll move on. Methodology is the title here. To assess if cannabis use leads to higher doses of inhalation anesthesia during surgery, the researchers conducted a retrospective cohort study compared to the average intraoperative minimum alveolar concentrations of volatile anesthetics. I don't know what I said there. I just said the words as they were on the screen. Insoflurane and sevoflurane. Okay, this is the anesthetics they're using. Between older adults who use cannabis products and those who did not. So the researchers reviewed electronic health records of 22,476 patients aged 65 years or older who underwent surgery at the University of Florida Health System between 2018 and 2020. Overall, 268 patients who reportedly using cannabis within 60 days of surgery, median age 69. Go on, those cool people. You know, and were matched to 1,072 non-users. The median duration of anesthesia was 175 minutes. The primary outcome was the inoperative time weighted average of isoflurane to or sevoflurane minimum alveolar concentration equivalents. I'm just butchering the fuck out of this. I don't even know what I'm saying. I wonder if anybody listening does. And I was just wondering there as I read it, it's like are people just like going for tests to go on the general anesthetics? Like, you know, you smoke some weed, you don't smoke some weed, put you on a general anesthetics, we'll time you and see who wakes up first. How's that sound?
And then we'll give you some orange juice and
and $20.
Right.
Fuck's sake. So takeaway. Cannabis users has significantly higher average minimum alveolar concentrations of isoflurane, so blah blah blah. Yeah, so cannabis users have a high amount of this stuff. Okay, the findings were confirmed in a sensitivity analysis that revealed higher mean average minimum alveolar concentrations of anesthesia in cannabis users than in non-users. I think that alveolar, that's a thing in the lung, isn't it? So it's probably like the amount of the anesthetics left in the lung or something like that. Maybe because it goes through the lung, it works differently because you're a cannabis smoker.
Must come out through your respiration comes out through that. Interesting.
Yeah. Although the 0.04 difference in minimum alveolar concentration between cannabis users and non-users was statistically significant, its clinical importance is unclear. So yeah, it goes on, this news article. But I just wanted you to all know, you know, if you are having surgery or anything like that soon, or any kind of anesthetics, and you are a cannabis user, a regular cannabis user, you know, like daily use, then do let the Savan says, how the fuck are you going to edit that piece, Maggie? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'll worry about that when I'm editing it. I don't need to worry about that now. Jesus. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That was good, man. That's fucking
it was good.
Medical terms. That's just hard.
Yeah. Even if I did say it all properly, we wouldn't understand it anyway.
I might not trust you if you said all that proper.
Very, very, very true. Very true. I would be skeptical
CIA.
too.
He's CIA. He said it proper.
Right.
He's using the correct terminology. Yeah, so that's about it, really. Just be careful, everybody, if you're going for the anesthetics and stuff, you know. Tell the doctor or the anesthesiologist. Make sure that they know that you're a cannabis user, because you don't want to be any pain and shit. Jesus.
That's a great point, man. Like, and I think, did it say cannabis users have less of the alveoli in our lungs?
I think maybe less absorption of the anesthetics. Where like they'll breathe in and then they'll blow out, and they'll probably monitor what's being blown out compared to what went in. So how much is being absorbed through the alveolar while you breathe it in and out? You know, how much comes, like measuring EC on a plant. You know, what's going in versus what's coming out. See what the difference is. And people who use cannabis are not taking in as much as people who don't use cannabis. So that our lungs are like, man. I think that's what I understand from the article anyway. I think that breaks it down pretty well. So now I don't need to edit it there, Sevon. So it'll be fine. It's explained. You know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, always important, you know, be honest with your doctors. It is important because as well, just before we move on to the last article here, you know, some medicines will interact with CBD differently, you know, if they're processed by the liver. So you always have to make sure that your doctor is aware of what is actually going into your body, so the medicine is going to be working properly, you know. But anyway, last one. We got what's this one, Billy, about this nominations open for Cannabis Industry Awards? What is this about?
Well, as it says in the tin, that there are Cannabis Industry Awards coming up and the nominations are open. So basically, if you follow the links and all that malarkey, it takes you to the site where you can go and nominate someone who's in the cannabis industry. And then basically the process is you nominate someone. between the 2nd and 1st of October, the nominations are open. So, and then they will have the nominations will be reviewed and a shortlist by a panel will be drawn up. And then there'll be a public voting for the winners, and then they'll have an award ceremony and the winners will be announced. So basically, you have until now, well, the 2nd of September, so now until the 1st of October to go to the nominations. So if you go to the cannabisindustrycouncil.org UK, you will be able to find the links there to go and put a nomination for someone who's done something in the cannabis industry.
Sweet.
So I'm personally going to do Charlotte Caldwell because she's
Yes,
done
man.
the most.
That sounds like a good plan. I would do the same thing.
So
I mean, once you've nominated somebody, they'll go up and there'll be a page for voting. That's what's going to happen, right?
yeah, basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on the 2nd and 3rd, the nominees will be reviewed, and then on the 4th, they say the public vote will be coming out. So I'll check on the 4th and 5th of October, and then you'll be able to vote then.
Sweet.
And yeah, that's about it, really. Go and
Yeah,
vote,
yeah.
people.
Nice short article there. Just a piece of small news. But yeah, that's just about everything, really, then. That's all of the news for now. It's been, I mean, it's been a crazy one. We had a good discussion there about the stuff happening on Product Earth and shit. I mean, some good news articles, man.
Yeah, that's wild stuff, man. Keeping everybody up to speed on what's going on, man.
Yeah, that's what we like to do. And it's difficult, you know, when you go out there, especially being in the UK and you're looking for news articles. And I've explained this loads of times to people. You just finding shit like, 3 people arrested on £500 worth of cannabis arrested. And just the same shit. You know, people busted on the way from the airport. You know, man arrested for driving cannabis, not driving cannabis. Man arrested for driving a vehicle under the influence of cannabis. It's always the same shit. You got to dig
Don't
deep to
forget-
find decent articles.
Man, you're forgetting about all the grows in the pubs and bingo halls, which are shut down, and places like that.
Old Shoe Zone, now with cannabis farm.
There you go. Basically, yeah.
Damn.
It's pretty fucked out there. Damn.
Keep your mouth shut. That's how you guys are just old school rules, man. Keep your mouth shut. And, you know,
Don't
keep
tell,
it
don't sell,
control.
cover the smell. You'll be fine. That's
Yeah.
what you have to do.
Be good, man.
Just keep your head down, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any forum news here to add. Still need to get the Mackey's monthly competition up and running. I've just been busy, haven't got around to doing it, but it will be there. So if you want to come and enter a comp and win some beans, let's do some Dutch passion beans this month. Let's do that. Yes, get over to percysgrowroom.com and sign up. Yeah, I think that's any other news? Do you know of any news, Billy? I mean, the plant of the month is open, so enter your plant into plant of the month. Yeah, blah 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 blah. That's it. Interviews this week. If you are a Patreon of the show, then you can get access to all of our interviews as they happen live, and you can also get access to all of the interviews in the past on a special playlist where you can see all of the interviews unedited and stuff. And on Tuesday, with a CH, Tuesday, yes, we're going to have the UK Cannabis Social Clubs up on the show to talk about what they do as well. They're going out to different cities and towns across the UK over the next couple of months, I think, to just try and let people know about the rules of cannabis in the UK and do some activism. So we're going to speak to them and see what the score is.
Nice.
That's on Tuesday, yes. So join us if you are a Patreon. If not, that will go out on Wednesday probably. We'll see what happens. So we've got a list of interviews to be sending out. But I think that's everything. I don't think there's anything to add here, right? I think we're all good. No forum news, no more interviews to add there. I think that's it. Let's go for a smoke break. We're good? Let's do smoke break. Smoke break before we move on to the grow guides over there where we talk about topping and training cannabis plants. So yes, everybody roll your joints, grab yourself some beverages if you need to, and we'll go on to that in like 5 or 10 minutes. So we can discuss some crap. This is where we go on random tangents now, Marco. But not too random. Not too random.
Okay.
Yeah. So how was the TV show, man?
TV, it was cool. It went really well. I had to get my little bit down to the deal was I had to get under 6 minutes.
Nice.
And I did that well. And then that little 30-minute Q&A, that was fun.
Damn.
Folks,
Oh, nice. So what, you like sitting down on the couch just chatting shit, Q&A?
No, so they have it set up like you're kind of in an old cabin, and so you stand
Nice.
at the table, do my little presentation at the table. The host Peggy, that's a lady that I've been wanting to meet a long time. She like this is a local show. I watched this for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And I was able to get on there, so I met her. She was really cool. And then for the Q&A, you go sit at this big kind of farm table, and the three of us are sitting there just kind of Q&A right at the table. So it was cool, man. Interesting with the TV thing. They were like, once we close the door, you can't leave. You know, it's like sound and all that shit is they're real
Mm-hmm.
picky on that there.
So I bet you were warm under some lights and shit for 6 minutes.
Well, thankfully it's LEDs now.
Oh
I told
yeah, that's
Nikki,
right.
yeah, Nikki asked the same question, my wife, and I was like, nah, surprisingly, it was cool because it was LEDs. And I like wore shorts and shit and like made sure I was like very cool, you know, because I sweat a lot. I usually get hot easily. So yeah, I wasn't sweating, it was real cool.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be another one? 'Cause I know you did one for now, but are you going back? Is gonna be another episode?
Well, you know, you throw your hat out there, Mackie. You just on when you leave, you say, "Hey guys, if you ever need me again, just let me know." And
Well, this is what we need to do now. What was the TV station, Marco?
W VPN 23 here, local Richmond
There we go.
East.
So now everybody need, especially if you're in the USA, go out there, go and do
Mhm.
Google search, find these folks, send them an email saying, "I love that guy Marco you had on the show. Can we get
Ah.
him back?" You know what I'm saying? Let's show a little bit of support to Marco. Just a few emails landing in, they'll be like, "Oh, look, this guy. People like this guy. Let's get him back
Yeah.
on the show again. Let's do an episode 2. Ask a question. You know, be like, oh, what's this thing he said about this living soil thing here? Can you get him
Yeah.
back and ask him this for me?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, we'll get him back."
I
Pow.
like how you think because they were like they were bragging because they had somebody from Ireland one that asked the question one time. And I was like, man, I said, well, if I get some of my folks to come, we might
That's
get people
right.
from anywhere, you know what I mean? So that was dope.
So what was the name of the channel again, just so we can get everybody on? Write this down, everybody, because you got to go and help
Yeah,
Marco. You got to go support Marco there.
exactly. Public TV over here, PBS, VPM 23, Richmond, Virginia.
Do it.
And yeah, hit them up. And it's gonna be playing until May when the new ones come out. Randomly, I had some high school classmates hit me up talking about, oh, we saw you, you know, and people hadn't talked to
Sweet.
him forever, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's,
Hmm.
it's kind of cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah, man. I would
I
like to
was
see it
thankful
happen
for
again.
that.
Very cool, man. Is it up
Yeah,
on YouTube
letting
anywhere? Can you find it on YouTube?
yeah, it's I believe it's on their Facebook.
Okay.
They don't even have Instagram. I was trying to convince them to get an Instagram. But I think it's on their Facebook. There's still a link up there, and then even on the website, you can click on there and check it out. And I just did a little deal on fermentation. They requested I do that because apparently a lot of with us fermentation it's kind of second nature, but a lot of people just getting into the natural farming deal,
Mm.
they're really interested in the ferments. So it's just a quick how to create a culture your labs, and then how to make your own fermented plant extract, and in 6 minutes.
Wow. Nice, man. It must be fun, though. It's always a good experience.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was. I mean, it makes you feel good, dog. You know what I mean? It makes you feel like, hey, people are really listening because they just discovered me from someone off Instagram recommended me to them. It's just kind of word of mouth. Hey, this guy on Instagram is doing a good job of teaching, education, and if you guys have wanted to anybody like that, and then they reached out, and then I got the email from the lady. I'm like, hold on, Peggy Singleman, like I've watched her for years. She is so cool. She's like the coolest gardening lady. And I was just like, wow, that's awesome. So I, responded to the email and went from there.
Nice,
So it's
man.
cool, man. Just doing fun shit with natural farming. And the key is when you learn this shit, teach somebody else. And I know that can be difficult in the UK. You want to teach someone about how you grow your
Hmm.
fire weed, but you can't, you know what I mean? But
One
like
day.
ways like this, like you're doing, the GIMP mask, do what you got
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. That's a bad sentence there. The gimp mask. You got to do what you
Right.
got to do. I'm going to cut that out, Marco. That's good.
Definitely, man.
Shit. What's Billy saying?
Uh,
You there, Billy? Oh no,
Yeah, I'm
the
still.
gimp mask with the trigger Billy there is like, what did
Yeah,
you say?
exactly. I'm triggered there. Like,
It's
totally.
like when you say walk to your dog, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's Marco and his beard. You see, that's what does it.
Yeah.
Have you got a beard as well, Mackie?
I don't like to talk about it. I look like that guy on the fucking TV. Look, that's with the mushroom hat
Oh,
on.
there you go. You do.
That's
You
me
do
with a
have
mushroom
beard,
hat on. That's me.
So all three of
Yeah.
us
So
got beards.
yes, I have a beard. Yes. Yeah.
So there's three of us with beards.
You're gonna get
Yeah.
somebody locked up. They're gonna be like, "That's him." It's not gonna be just a guy that looks like your avatar.
You know.
Yeah, innit? Yeah. Fucking got him.
Got him.
Fucking knew it was him. Knew it was him all
Bloody
along.
oboe on the street begging. We know you are.
That's right. That's right. You know who I am.
No
Excuse me. Yeah, nice hit of the joint there.
Yeah.
But are we already ready to move on? I better go and grab a drink before we go on to the grow guides here.
I suppose you should.
Yeah, you
Oh,
chat to Marco, but don't
yeah,
say
I will
anything
do.
rude. Jesus.
No, I won't. What I will talk about Marco about is Barcelona again, because like we both met in.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. That was great, man.
Yeah. It's what's quite funny is I watched you for ages, like, and it's like, oh look, there's Marco, and I'm like, and I was with Chilbert, and I'm like, that is Marco, isn't it? Like, because I just forget who everyone is, even their faces. They're like three people actually
Me too,
remember who
dude.
they are, and it's like, so I'm standing with him, like making sure, like, waving him to like check that who you are, and I'm like, yeah, that is him, because you used with your missus, then obviously as well, so it's more of a personal visit for you.
We were just thinking about y'all, man. The wife says, because we were talking about that brother Chilbert, and then my guy from Portugal, I forget his IG, but
Oh,
good group of guys.
Preta, yeah, soil dude, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Portuguese Preta soil,
Preta soil, yeah. So I was like, damn, man, you guys showed me some love that day, man. It was pretty cool meeting y'all. And,
so that's what sort of product turf is like, if you know what I mean, for people, because everyone's split up, and the people like, so when you, because that's what the community is about. It was some essential to meet up. So when everyone's getting searched and you have to, it's like you're not a community no more. You're just all of a sudden you're like fucking a bunch of individual criminals again. It's like you just totally lose all that vibe. So it's like, yeah.
And then when you finally get in, you're like, you can kind of breathe. You're like, damn.
Yeah. So, but we didn't have none of them issues in Barcelona at all, did we? And everyone knew what was going on then. So even when, yeah. So it's nice to be able to, because it's not often you speak to someone on the internet and you know what they look like and you've met them as well.
Yes. Yeah, man. No doubt, mate. That was nice meeting. We still got the pictures too.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
you know
cool.
What I mean? Still got my homegrown pin. You know
Epic.
what I mean?
Oh yeah. The pin, I forgot I gave you that. Yeah.
Yes, I was pinned, yo. I'm official. So that
so it's official now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sweet.
Right then, are we all smoked? Are we all good?
Yeah. I'll have to light up another one then, I suppose.
Yeah,
what's pre-smoked? So
I'll take one more hit of this fucking thing here, because we've got to talk about topping and training next, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. There's a lot of new people here, new viewers today. So thanks to all the new guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet, and the like button. That would be cool as well. Yeah, they're all dropping off now. Don't go. It's already too late to say don't go. They've already gone. But yes, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Gonna hit this delicious cannabis cigarette again.
Yes.
Do you need to get another beverage, Marco? Do you need another IPA before we move on?
You can let me grab my water, man. I don't like to go back to back. I like to go water between beer.
Sensible.
That's a very good idea.
Stay hydrated and all that.
Exactly.
Stay high and hydrated at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, man. Now we just wait for Marco to return.
We shall.
Yeah, I think he's doing that.
Drink anyway.
San Miguel I have today.
Again. Okay.
Yes.
A little can. Or the bottles.
No, cans, man. Cans, proper pikey.
Yeah, that's
glass bottles are expensive, you know, bro. Jesus.
Okay, yes, I was saying. Went for the proper glass bottle style, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey man, I'm completely comfortable with the fact that I'm just a degenerate Englishman. All right. smoke weed, like to take mushrooms sometimes, drink some alcoholic beverage from time to time. You know, just a normal average guy.
Write comments on the internet, as you do.
Yeah,
Get arrested for
that's
the
it.
lot of it.
That's right. God damn.
Apart from the drinking beer, actually. So no.
Yeah, you're all right doing that. Yeah, fuck, it's crazy, isn't it? Don't get me
Stupid, innit?
started, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But you're even allowed to brew your own beer as well, aren't you?
yeah.
Do you have to pay tax on the amount?
No,
brew
only
or
when you get
give
past
away?
a certain amount, I think.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's any amount of when with tobacco though. You have to pay an amount on the dried weight. I think is that.
It's ridiculous. The tax fucking everything. I said this was in Greg's. Greg's is like a sandwich store we have here in the UK. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about. And I was in there yesterday and I got a sandwich with me and my boy got a sandwich each. And she's like, "Oh, you can get a drink with that, you know, meal deal. You get a, you know, it's cheaper to get both together." So he went off, he grabbed himself a bottle of cola, but he grabbed the original cola, not the zero sugar cola. And she's like, "Oh, there's a little bit more for that because it's sugar tax." I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And the guy behind the counter is like, "Stupid, isn't it?" I'm like, yeah, because if something has sugar in it, we have to pay a tax on it now in the UK. So products with more sugar in cost more money. You know, just trying to stop poor people from buying it, pretty much. You know, because that's all it is really. When you imply taxes like that, then it's just you know, you're just taxing people who can't afford it. Yeah. Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. We should do an economic show sometimes and show exactly how we don't have a fucking clue what we're talking about.
Well, New York tried that with sodas. Soda, like
Right.
you couldn't buy a large, big soda. It was like a small. The government got into soda sizes. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Remember, was it Ronald Reagan who said the 9 scariest words, or was it the 7? I'm not counting them. He said the scariest words you can hear is "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Yeah, definitely.
True story. Let's go on to the grow guides. Let's do it. So, as you know, if you've been listening to the episodes so far, we are going through the whole series of how to grow your cannabis step by step, every detail broken down so it's easy to understand. And we're trying to also follow a kind of timeline that your cannabis plants will be on as it goes through the grow stages. So, we started at the very beginning on how to plan the grow, what size tent to get, what size light to get, onto what nutrients, what medium, where to get seeds from, how to germinate them. We've been through absolutely everything so far, and right now, if you're following that whole cycle, you're going to be 2 or 3 weeks into the vegetative stage of growth, and this is the perfect time to do some topping and training. All right, so that's what we're going to be covering in this episode. You want to be doing the topping and training. We'll explain it as we get there. I was going to rush into it then, but let's take it step by step. We'll begin with what topping is. Marco, do you want to take a shot at that? You want to explain what topping cannabis plants is?
Yeah, I can give it a shot. You know, my idea of topping is basically you want to clip the top main, bud site, and you want that branch to split. And topping is a way to if you just grow a seed and you never top it, it's just gonna kind of grow really tall, like one main stem and a few side stems. But topping it allows it to grow more main stems. Each time you top those main stems, they double. So it's a good way to get more top branches to fill the canopy during veg.
And you get real bushy as well the more you top.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's explain that again, just to go into more detail there.
Yeah.
Like Marco said, the plant's just going to keep growing taller and taller. And there's going to be one main cola, which is going to be the big flower, the big bud that's just grown in the middle. It will look something like a Christmas tree, you know, thin at the top, thick at the bottom, you know, depending on how tall it is. And you, instead of just having that one big cola, you can top the plant, which will split that cola essentially into 2. And at the same time, it releases a hormone into the plant where the plant's essentially telling itself, we've lost the main cola. So make more. And it'll just, instead of just growing the side shoots, it will grow like main shoots on the side. So you're going to get bigger buds around the plant at the tops of the stems. Instead of just having one big one and loads of small ones, you'll have a shitload of medium ones, cross between the two. And this is why people like to top. Not just because it's easier to train a plant when it's topped, and we'll go into that in a bit, but because of that hormone that gets released. It's not something that is just for cannabis plants. Farmers do this for lots of trees and lots of crops. They will top grapes and cherry trees and things like that to get more growth out of them and to make them bushy. So it's not specific to cannabis plants. This is a technique that's been used in horticulture for quite a while. But anyway, I'm rambling a little bit.
Yeah, those auxins are released,
That's right, the auxins. And it's AUXINS, I think it is. Do a Google search for that if you want to know more about them. That hormone that gets released. But it's an important feature, especially when you're growing indoors, because when you're growing indoors, you're trying to keep this level canopy, so not one part of the plant is higher than the other. It's all pretty level. So to top it will make it easier to keep that level, because you can train all the side branches and keep it at level. Again, I said level loads of times. Should do a clicker for the amount of times it said level. Then it's ping, 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 ping.
Oh yeah, because level is more money. Level canopy, full canopy, more money per square inch or square meter,
and more efficient use of the light as well. Because the closer the plants get to the light, the more light it's going to absorb. So you want to get it to the right level, and the more plant that's at that level, at the optimal, like 18 inches away, if you can get the whole plant at 18 inches, then that's going to be perfect, instead of like 24 inches away when it's right at the bottom. So that all makes a difference, and this is why you want to top the plant. So what you're going to do to top, right? Let's Billy, you top your plants, don't you?
Yeah, I top all my plants.
So what's your
apart
process?
From the autos. I wait for them to get to, well, it depends on the plant, but to get to like the right stage of growth until you've got like 4 nodes growing well, and you've got like the little flowers starting to, like all the new growth underneath. The lower branches are all starting to grow a bit more. So, and then I'll choose where I'm going to top. So I'm going to top 1 or 2 nodes off. So it's individual, I'd say. I'd say probably about after 3 weeks of from seed, you're looking to top your plant, really. Before then as well, depends on
when the plant's ready. How do you do your topping?
I just literally get a scalpel and take the top 1 or 2 off on the main stem, and that's it. Cool. I leave like about an inch at the top so it can dry off and not infect the whole stem, if you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying. What about you, Marco? Do you top your plants?
Yeah, I do a little pinch.
What's your process? You just finger and thumb, yeah?
Yeah, usually depends on how much I'm topping, but usually I like to stay up on top of it pretty well. But from seed, I'm like Billy, I like to let it grow. I like to judge it by like if I can pick that plant up kind of by its stem too, if it can support itself, in a little 4-inch pot. That's telling me it's getting strong. So like he said, about 4 nodes at least, and then just pinch that very top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that really gets the party started. There was a tech, I still do this sometimes, FIM, where you kind of half pinch that
the
top.
fin. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you miss and you just don't top it, so you gotta kind of go back anyway. So I kind of frowned upon that a little bit. I'll just go ahead and top the damn thing and get the party started.
So then just to try and help people visualize this, right? So you've planted your seed like you would have done a few weeks ago when we was covering the germination stage, and the plant's grown for a few weeks. And as the stem grows upwards, you're going to get more leaves popping out as it grows up. And each time there's a new set of leaves, not the round ones. The round ones don't count, right? They're the cotyloidans. They're just the starter leaves. They don't count as an internode. But as it grows, it'll grow a set of leaves, and then it'll grow a little bit taller with another set of leaves, and then another set of leaves. Each set of those leaves are called the internodes. And those leaves will go out, and then there'll be a couple of stems that grow out just above them leaves as well. And they're called your nodes. That's the first node, the second node, and the third node. And when Billy's saying it like tops at the 4th node, then he'll wait for 1 more of those sets of leaves to pop out. That will be the 4th node, and then he'll wait until the 5th starts to grow, and then he'll cut that just above the 4th. and
Mhm.
that's where you're gonna top. For me personally, I'll do the third or the fourth, but I will do it uniformly across the all of the plants on the same grow. Like I'll have 4 plants and they'll all be topped at the third node, or I have 4 plants and they'll all be topped at the fourth, just
Mm.
depending on how I feel. But I'll lean in the tent and I'll be like, that looks like it needs topping, and I'll just pinch it
Yeah,
off with my finger on my thumb. I don't do anything fancy. I'll keep everything very fucking simple. So,
yeah. I use that fingernail myself.
and then
Uh,
take the tops and put them in the worm bin, but and the worms
right,
will
or
enjoy them.
ALF, either one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you're doing it
compost.
as well, there's going to be those little side shoots you'll see as the stem grows up, and where you're cutting it on the main stem just above the next node. So you like just underneath the fourth node. If you're going for the third node, you're going to have them
Right.
2 side shoots. You just leave those. Oh, sorry. You just leave those, and they'll grow out into side stems, and then you're going to train those. You're going to like tie string to them and tie them down to the plant, because they'll continue to try and grow upwards towards the light, which is cool. You want it to do that, but you will also want the side shoots to grow up towards the light as well, and they'll grow slower than the ones at the top. So the ones at the
Well,
top
at
you
that
want to, sorry
stage,
Marco.
let me top in there because at that stage
Mm.
you can also choose to. I'll do a squeeze and bend, like super crop, and I'll bend it
Okay,
straight down to 90 degrees. Where you go ahead and tie it with string, I'll bend that thing straight to 90 right down.
well, you do
Oh,
the main stem or one of the side shoots.
the side shoots,
Right,
those side shoots that you want to tie down,
nice.
you can take them right down to 90 because they're gonna by the time you go towards flower and they're gonna catch back up, they're just gonna make it get that much wider. Just
Hmm.
one of the techniques. Sorry, I want to just throw that in there.
I know it's a good addition there, man.
Mhm.
And that's a version of high stress training as well, everybody. Which we'll cover that
Yeah.
in a future episode as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let me get ahead of y'all. Excuse me.
But yeah, and this thing as well. We said training cannabis plants, and just in case you don't know, this is called low stress training, right? Not topping. Topping is a high stress training method because you're taking a part of the plant off. It's stress for the plants. Only do it on plants that are nice and happy and healthy. Don't do it to a plant that's suffering, because then it's just going to take longer to recover. The plant might take a day or two to recover, but most of the time I don't even notice the difference. They just carry on. The plants fucking love it. So if you're a new grower and you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He wants me to chop off a section of my plant. It's like, yes, it's for its own good, and it will be absolutely fine. Don't worry. I know
Yep.
it's scary because I was a new grower once as well. And I remember trying to do my first top and I was like, what are you talking about? I'm going to kill the fucking thing. It's like, "Yeah, do it. Do it." It's like, fine, I'll do it. And I did it. And yeah, everything carried on just sweet. So don't be concerned if you're a new grower. Topping is a good way to go.
Easy money. Yep.
Hmm. Well, then, yes, it goes on to the training after that, the low stress training, where you're just trying to manipulate the growth of the plant as it grows. Now, it's going to grow these stems and branches. It's not going to grow the flowers yet. It's in the veg stage, remember, from last week. Check out the veg stage episode. But you're just training it and trying to keep it as flat as possible. You want some space in between the medium if you can, a good 6 inches. So it's easy for you to get in there and water around the plant. So don't like train it directly on top of the soil, which you can do. But, make it easy on yourself when you're watering as well. Bear that in mind. But you're going to tie some string around one of the branches and you're going to bend it a little bit. Not so much that it snaps. You'll find the right tension depending on how old your plant is. And then you're just going to anchor it, essentially. You can anchor it to the pot. Some people can use like tent pegs or something that goes into the soil, and you can tie it down there. But you're just going to anchor it on something to make sure that that section of the leaf is held down by the branch. Like the main branches at the top, they're going to be held down in a specific place. So they can't grow tall then. They're growing flat, they're growing horizontal. And then all the side shoots that grow on that main the side shoots from the top. Hope you're all imagining this, right? I'll break it down again. So we've done the top and the 2 side shoots are growing out, and you're training those, and as those side shoots are growing, they're gonna grow nodes as well. And you just want to be training those, because them nodes on the new growth will also grow side shoots. So there's so many good reasons to train. I hope you can all visualize that. Gosh.
And that middle will grow out too. All those
Mm-hmm.
interior shoots will start pushing up the center, and you're just opening that up. we look at the bud as a flower, but look at the whole plant as a big flower. You just want
Hmm.
to open that flower up, help those branches open so that light can start hitting that center.
That's
It's
right,
just gonna
man.
give you more yield, better quality. Like Mackie said, even canopy, light is hitting it
More
evenly.
efficient. There's so many
Yeah.
reasons, and it's fun as well. You don't just have to sit there watching a plant grow. I mean, you can do that if you
No.
want to, but if you want to spend some time with the plants, yeah, during like the third, or maybe the fourth and fifth week of veg, it's a good time to train, man. And you can just sit
Mhm.
there for a couple of hours with the plants, spend some time with them, have a good check over them. You know, you do some training, take off a little bit of the growth at the bottom if there's too much of it.
Yeah.
It's just a fun time, especially when you enjoy growing as a hobby. It's a fun time to just sit there and train the plants sometimes, though it can
That's gonna
take a
save
while.
you time later too.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be trimming small buds. Let me tell you that. You know,
You
shit.
no, you don't. Popcorn.
hmm So, I mean, we've covered topping, and you should all top. Unless you're growing outdoors, you'll be all right if you're growing outdoors. But even then, it might be a good idea to top anyway. But once you've topped the plants, as the plant grows over the next week or so, you want to be training all of those side shoots, keeping it nice and level, keeping it fed with veg food, like we explained last week. In the vegetation stage, if you're growing in with salt-based nutrients, just keep feeding it the grow newts, what you use. And if you're in living soil, just keep watering. Nice and easy. But there's other things that you can use as well for training. You don't have to anchor it all the time. Uh, you can use these thing called bends. Have you used bends before, Billy? Have you used bends?
No, I just use the soft ties, but you can do similar thing with the
Oh,
soft
what
ties.
you mean like
But
a garden wire you're using?
yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
Right.
okay.
yeah. The
Okay.
soft garden wire. It's got
Mm-hmm.
like a soft sponginess to the outside, so it don't damage the plant.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the bends are quite useful actually. They do work quite well.
They look pretty cool. I like those.
I
I wish
I
they
d-
had them out back then. I
You know,
wouldn't
in
be.
back in the day.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what you're saying, bro. Because they are
I
really
wouldn't
fucking
be
useful.
exactly. I wouldn't be bending like my shit, squeezing and bending like I do.
Hmm.
But I seen them. They look pretty cool.
you just got to get your timing right on them, so you know
Yeah.
when the plant's strong enough but still malleable enough to give it a little bend in it without
Yeah, and
breaking. So yeah,
that's a good point as well because I don't use these things when I'm growing autos because there's a stage when you're going from the vegetative stage into the flowering stage where the plants just get really rigid and they're so easy to fucking break. It's so easy to
Mm.
break. So you need to be doing like the topping and training during the actual veg stage. If you're going with autos, it's probably best not to do too much of this with autos. But if you're going photo period, definitely you can train them up to fucking into any shape if you wanted to. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But
You can double bend them. I've seen guys doing that, like
mhm.
make it fucking S.
Yeah, spirals and shit. You can do you
Right.
do loads of stuff, man. It's quality shit, and it's definitely recommended. You're gonna increase your yield by doing it like this, and the quality of the buds as well, like Marco mentioned earlier. So it's definitely
It's a
something you have
hobby,
to do.
you know. It's
Yeah,
for fun.
it's
Have
like
fun with the
bonsai.
shit. Yeah, no doubt. Have fun.
Yeah, yeah. So and like we said, that you can use the bends. You can use Billy. What was you had garden wire? What did you call it?
soft ties is called.
The soft ties. Yeah, anything like that. Something that can gently hold the plant in place. Instead of it just growing tall all the time. But do you use something there, Marco? Do you use string? What's your training method?
Like if I'm just going that route, if I just want a really flat canopy, what I'll do is I gotta kind of set up where I have a steel grate, kind of like some cattle fence.
Okay.
Um, and so picture, 4x4 square cattle grate. I can set this thing right up on top of some boards that I kind of have already on the perimeter of my grow, flop it right down, and then the weight of that kind of already smushes everything down, and I can just go through there and just by hand start training, weaving, and filling in that canopy, and then when I have to, I can cut stuff out.
And so you more like scrogging? Is that what you're doing with that?
Yeah, if I
Right.
use that technique, I'll do more of like a screen. It's a heavy screen though, that I
Hmm.
can I'll let
Heavy
them kind
screens are the
of,
best, bro. The plant don't fight against them.
yeah, it's heavy enough to where the plant can't push it up. I really do not, I don't like fucking people love that trellis stuff, man. And
Yeah, it's too
like they'll
weak, isn't
do
it?
like,
It just doesn't.
yeah,
Hold on, just to interject here. If anybody isn't aware of what we're speaking about, we're speaking about
yeah.
scrogging here, which is known as screen of green, and you're going to use a net or a frame with grids in it, and you put that above the plant, and you're going to train the plant into each square throughout the grid. That's what we're talking about right now.
Mhm.
And like Marco was saying, he uses this cattle grid he's got because it's good and strong. But if you're using the net in the trellis, which you would use for like tomatoes and things like that in the back garden, it's just not strong enough. The cannabis plant is strong enough to push that netting out of the way
Yeah,
and do whatever it wants. And so you need something good and sturdy and heavy when you're doing a good scrog, and a metal
yeah,
thing is the best thing to use. Yeah, sorry, Marco, you were saying.
yeah, 100%. And really, it's because just like you said, Mackie, because you want to be in control. When I want that fucking can to be flat, I want it flat. Like I don't want to
Hmm.
be coming back tomorrow, and then now this big girl is pushing the damn netting up on this side, and I'm just. It saves you time in the long run. Is
And it's
why
such a
I'm
good fucking process as well. You know, when you got
yeah.
that sturdy net just
Use it
mounted in
over
the
and
right
over.
place. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
the way to go. I was going just through some random market one day in my main city, and I needed something for a scrog, and there was nothing I could get. I needed, 4 foot by 4 foot. And I walked past just this random stall, and he's got this white frame, and it 3.5 centimeters for each square, and I was like,
Mm.
damn, that's perfect. I'm like, how much are those, mate? He's like, fiver. And he's putting his like t-shirts hanging out. I'm like, no, mate, I want the metal frames. You see
Right.
that I want that. Can I get two of those? He's like, two of those? I'm like, yeah, two of those. It's random,
100%.
it's fiver each. It's fucking the amount of scrogs I've done in that thing is ridiculous. Perfect. Perfect.
Good eye. And that's what I always tell people. Like, I don't look at things of what they are. I look at an item and say, what can I use it for? I don't care what you
Mm-hmm.
call it. Oh, it's a t-shirt racker. Oh, I don't give a fuck
You
what you
know.
call it.
But the
That's
guy
what
was
I
freaked
need.
out though. It's like I've never seen somebody be so excited about
Right.
fucking metal frames. But it works
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah, I mean, mine's 3.5 centimeter. Where Big Bad Wolfie says 5 centimeter in the chat. That's all good. Yeah, just a decent amount like that is fine. But when it goes into like 6 inches and 10 inches and things like
That's too
that,
big.
yeah, it's far too big, man. That's more of
Yeah.
a support net for the plant. That's not for a scrog. So if you want to go
Exactly.
that scrog route, nice sturdy scrog with 3.5 centimeters to 5 centimeters, like maybe 1-2 inches, yeah, something like that. That's about right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what mine is. I got that. It's actually called hog wire. So the squares are 3 inches by like 4 inches. They're like
Beautiful.
rectangular,
Beautiful.
but it's so heavy that it's perfect. Like it just
Hmm.
works out. I don't use that technique a lot. I mean, it just depends. As everybody knows, as you grow, man, you're gonna kind of develop your own thing that works best for you. I like bamboos a lot too. I like to jam
Hmm.
bamboo in the
Yeah, yeah,
soil
yeah.
and then clip the plant right to it. It's easy for
That's
me
right.
to
I
do
want to
that.
try and stress to people as well, these new guys, because I remember, even though it was a long time ago, I still remember what it was like to be a new grower and
Mm,
hear people saying this kind of thing about training and topping,
yeah,
and it's like, oh no, that's far too complex. I'm not capable of doing any of that. You are capable. You're gonna be fine. Just follow the instructions. These plants are so fucking hardy. You don't even know yet. If you're a new grower, you don't know how much shit these plants can take and just keep going happily, smiling.
yeah,
So, don't worry about it. You can top them, you can train them. They won't even care. They'll say thank you for the food that you've just given them, and they'll carry on doing their thing,
yeah.
man.
You'll be better off to sit there for an hour a day just looking at the leaves, and
Mm.
then you'll end up seeing pests. Like you know what I'm saying, Mackie?
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
how it is. You can go into any guy's grow right now and immediately see a pest from across the room, whereas a newer grower, you don't see the forest for the trees. So I always say that, man. Sit there, look at your soil up close. Watch, see if you see anything.
Right.
Look at your leaves, see what they're looking like. See,
It's
observe.
it's that old
You know,
saying, isn't it? The best nutrients for a plant is the farmer's shadow.
no
Hmm.
doubt. Easy.
So keep an eye on your plants, man. And when you're doing this topping and training as well, it's
Yeah,
a good time to spend with your plants, man. I really
yeah.
enjoyed it. But I mean, I did a scrog many years ago, and I always refer back to it when we talk about scrogs. But you can see it on YouTube. You can do a search for Jack Herat Grow Diary percysgrowing.com. Then you'll find it.
Mm.
And just watch that. It's got like 25,000 views or something, maybe even more. Shitload of views. But, and you can see the scrog I'm talking about with the screen, with the netting I'm talking about and shit. And the scrogging is the way. I love it. If you want to be involved with your plants sometime and spend some hours doing this topping and training, definitely do it. It's a very rewarding way of growing. Fun.
I did my first when Virginia went legal. My first, legal plant grow was I said I'm gonna do a scrog because I want to show that in a 4x4 I can fill that whole motherfucker up with one plant and just show you that. And I did that. It's on my IG as well. But to me, that's how you stick your thumb up nose up. Whatever that saying is, that's how you say fuck you to the man. You say, all right, you let me do 4 plants. All right, here's my 4. My 4, each plant is 4 foot by 4 foot.
That's
and I'm
right.
growing
I'm
pounds.
harvesting a pound off each.
Yeah. Shit like that is how you. That's how you.
And that's a good point there as well. As Marco's saying, he got one plant in a 4x4 and scrogged it, and you can get a pound off that from one plant indoors.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah, you should go past that. If the plant's healthy and you've trained it out properly. But if it was just left to grow on its own and you didn't scrog it and you didn't top it, then 5 ounces?
Yeah, you have a mess. You'll just have a mess. You'll have
Mhm.
branches breaking, falling over,
Yeah,
leaning,
man.
not even canopy. And scrog is. I think you know what that might be a thing, man. New grower, you might need to go ahead and learn that scrog right away as kind of your breaking grounds, and you're really learning, understanding how to plant.
Yeah,
Because
man.
what that does is you see today, oh, I bent this. Oops, I bent it too much. Well, when you come back tomorrow, you say, "Oh, damn, the plant can take that. It
Yeah.
accepted that. That was
Mhm.
okay." It just teaches you a lot about the plant.
And as well, just to add, if you haven't got the scrog net, because we're going to the scrog thing there, but that's also part of training. It's all low stress training for the plants. But if you don't have the scrog net, then use the bends, like we mentioned. You can buy those on Amazon, or you can go to the grow shop and buy them. Just little plastic clips that get put on the plant. It's real easy to use. Can't really describe it. You'll figure it out when you get them. But what's most common is it being tied down with string and then anchored. Yeah, I said anchored, Billy. Is he there? Are you there, Billy?
Yeah, I'm still
I
looking at
was just
anchor.
expecting
Sorry.
you to laugh hilariously when I used the word anchor. But you
No,
didn't.
well, you weren't funny enough, mate. You're
Oh.
boring.
Bastard. You know how to
Yeah.
hurt my feelings, bro.
Yeah.
Oh shit, what was I saying? Yeah, so you can anchor it down somewhere, and that's one of the most common methods. That's what you'll see most people use. But that scrog net, if you can get that up and running, don't be shy, don't be scared. You can do it. If you can get that scrog net, fucking do it, man. You won't regret it. So that's topping and training. But what can often happen while you're doing this topping and training is you can accidentally snap a branch, and it hurts sometimes, deep in the soul, like, ouch. You know what I'm saying? We've all been there, right? When you snap these fucking branches.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I think all the
Yeah.
mushrooms in the world just reek a little bit, if you know what I mean. They're all shake, going, "Oh, a plant's been harmed."
Yeah, they feel it. They feel the pain.
Yeah.
And
The
it
microbial
is
effect.
shocking. And when you're doing these scrogs, I've mentioned it before on a show recently, where during the scrog, one of my scrogs I was doing, I snapped like 4 branches as I was doing the training. And it's like the first one you can kind of handle it. Like, oh, cool, yeah, broke one. It's okay. I'll just tape it up here. It's cool. And then the next one breaks. Oh, fuck's sake. Then the next one breaks. And by the 4th one, I'm just about to cry, man. I'm like, oh my God. Fucking snapping all these branches. It was so beautiful. But every one of those branches just healed. You get some scotch tape, yeah, or sellotape. Masking tape's a good one. You can just use masking tape, or even that shit microporous tape, for sports injuries and cuts and shit like that. Some kind of tape like that you can just make a stint so the plant's got some support and wrap it up. And even if that stem has fully broken off and is no longer on the plant, you put it back where it's supposed to be, tape it up so it can stay there for 48 hours, and that will carry on. This plant is so fucking hardy. It's really hard to explain to new growers just how much these plants can take. We'll say that again. I've mentioned it already, you know, and I mean, we'll say it again further in the episode, most likely. But these plants are hardy as fuck, man. A few breaks here and there, they don't care. They'll be like, oops, carry on. We've got bud to grow.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
stress about it. It'll be all right.
Now, what kind of technique do you use if you break a stem, Marco? Do you do that often nowadays?
I have and I do, but man, I'll do something simple like I'll take a piece of wire, something like what Billy was saying about the soft wire, I believe. So if
Mm-hmm.
that stem all right snaps down, you know, like if I put my arm up in the air and my arm snaps down, and that was the way it snapped,
Mm.
and I would pull that back up, and I'd use a piece of wire to keep it close back to that up position so it can heal. You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll snap and it won't be bad enough where enough of it's hanging on, and it'll keep
Yeah,
growing
sometimes
even
you don't even
further down.
notice. I've done that before.
Yeah,
Uh, like,
sometimes you don't even notice.
yeah, huge
But you can use
break.
tape too. Instead of wire, you can use tape.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that all works.
Yeah, masking tape's quite good because if it's after a while, if the plant was younger and it's still growing out, you can just snip the top
Yeah, yeah.
parts and the
Mm-hmm.
plant will just carry on growing and break the masking tape as it gets
Yeah.
big as
I
well.
like to
So
use
that's a
masking
good
tape
one.
because it's not as strong. If you're using strong ass duct tape, you've got to get this shit off the plants after. All right.
Right.
You know?
mask,
Right.
yeah.
And you don't want anything if you use black duct tape, which I've done before, if you leave it on there for too long, it's like roots start to grow and shit because there isn't any light getting that specific. So it's like you've taken a cut in or something.
Oh, you
And
like
then-
your air layer in it?
Yeah, yeah, it start growing out into root after a couple of weeks. So and I've seen videos of people doing that, like taking cuttings of trees, of just putting a certain section of it into darkness, and after a month or so, it turned into a cutting. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that happens as well. So don't use like black duct tape or anything that's too opaque. You want transparent, preferably. You know, just like Scotch tape, which is sellotape. You know, that see-through stuff, or the micropose tape, or masking tape. That's all good shit. Just use that. But if you're there and you're like, oh shit, this is broken, I've got nothing. Anything will fucking do. Just tape it up. You know, if you can get it off in 24 hours, wait in 48 hours when it's done. And if it's young as well, the plant will just grow through it. You know, it'll break it off as well. So it's nothing to be too concerned about when you break branches. It happens, man.
Or use that as a clone if you have to. If you broke it, whoops, not go on up the branch and take a clone or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Lots of things you can do. Just don't be too disappointed when it happens. And I say when it happens because I'm not going to say if it happens because it will happen. It does happen, man. Just don't be too disheartened by it. Just tape it back up and it'll be fine. And Marco mentioned earlier as well this super cropping thing, and this is when people will break the inside of the branches, and like without breaking the outside, so it won't be completely broken, but the inside is broken. And you know that's a specific high stress training technique that people use to increase yields, and those branches can grow back bigger and stronger than any of the other branches on the fucking plant. And that's why people do it. So you know these plants are hardy as fuck, man. They can take it. Do some training. You will,
And then
you
also
will not
when you
regret it.
select, and these one of your selecting plants, select ones that are sturdy. Select ones that kind of support themselves. That's part of your evaluation process if you're gonna keep something. Because I like a plant that can support itself even after I bend it and do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so those kind of things will help you out in the long run. Just something to think about.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you get them plants that are just fucking, they're not strong enough.
Right.
And you have to use canes and shit to hold them up. You know, if you're in a scrog, I've even had that in a scrog where things have grown too tall and just like couldn't even support themselves above a scrog because you'd have the scrog and then you'd need a support net above that shit. It's like, damn.
Now you're lazy. You're laying on the scrog.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Damn. But it's highly recommended, everybody, especially if you're growing indoors, topping and training, man. And it's going to increase the floor space on which you're using when you're growing your plants. That means you're going to get more light absorption. It's more efficient. You're going to grow more buds. It's going to be all good all round. And you get to spend some extra time with your plants as well. And you get to feel a little bit more professional. You know, get to have a little lab coat and shit. You can sit there training the plants. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. My shit looks good.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's very good. Do it, everybody. Don't be shy. Get some bends because that's an easy way as well. If you don't want to tie anything down, you can just use bends. They work really well. And then, yeah, the scrog is the next option. And of course, if you have questions, if you're concerned at any point and you want to be like, oh, I have to top this now, where do I top? Head over to percysgrowroom.com. We have guides on it, or you can just take a picture of your plants and we'll be able to show you whereabout on your plant you should cut to top your plants. Yeah, and we have some questions relating to this as well in the listener mail section. So I think we can head on to there unless there's anything else to add here. You got anything to add there, Billy?
No, I think you've covered it all, really.
It's pretty much covered, right? Anything to add, Marco?
No, orchid clips, you can get those online. They're good, the little small spring clips to hold your plants too.
Cool.
Cool.
Right then, let's do some listener mail. Let me find the questions. We have quite a few questions today on the listener mail section here. Well, this one from Little Red, and this one's, I think it's for you, Marco, really, because this is about the USA rescheduling of cannabis and things like that. So let's see what he says here. Little Red, he said, is the rescheduling to Schedule 3 really a positive thing? Are there S3, I think that means Schedule 3 drugs, you can walk into a retail location and pick up milligram level, how often you take it, what flavor you want, what form to take it in? Are you allowed to grow or MFG your own S3 drug? Could a rescheduling shut down the entire industry overnight, or am I just overthinking this? That's from listener.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that made sense to you. I don't know.
Yeah, you're overthinking it because
Mm.
I mean, shit. I forget what you were asking.
Yeah, it just
I don't know what is I don't keep up with what schedule and what. I don't know none of that. I don't know
what schedule is
what
cannabis
schedule.
right now? Is that Schedule 2?
I don't know.
Don't know. Oh, cool.
I don't know, honestly. I know it was up there with heroin and all that shit,
Yeah,
and then I think they
Schedule 1,
rescheduled it down to like Schedule 3 with other man-made drugs. So I'm not up to speed on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Things
don't
like
think.
that I don't care, bro. Like things like that. I'm just gonna keep growing my cannabis. I'm not worrying about what they schedule. Well, I don't know. I don't got
Nice.
that on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm not the guy for that question. I'm not good one. For that.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I don't know the answer to this one either. I've seen a lot of controversy with them moving it down to Schedule 3. That apparently it's not good enough. It's just gonna hand the whole industry over to Big Pharma.
Basically,
we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
yeah. But just keep being a home grower, and
That's
then
right.
It's gonna be all right.
That's it, man. Yeah, no matter what happens, if it's illegal, if it's legal or what, you just grow your own homegrown. Follow the free rules. Don't tell anybody about it. Don't sell any,
Don't
and
buy
cover
their
the
shit.
smell. Man, you'll be fucking fine. You don't need to worry about shit.
No, I mean don't stress.
Right, we'll go on to the next one here from Cookie Grow. We have what is a FIM, and because we were talking about topping and training, FIM was also mentioned. And Marco, you said you do a FIM, yeah?
Yeah, it was called FIM. Fuck, I missed is what it was. When you're trying to pinch the very top apical bud, sometimes your fingers are too fat or too, you miss it. What happens there is that's actually a technique because that'll give you, like, instead of 2 tops, you can get up, 6 tops, 4 tops, 3, 5. It could be really random the number of tops that grow from a missed film. But it's not easy to hit it perfect. And sometimes you'll do it and then you'll wait, a week, and then you'll say, "Oh, damn, I missed it," because now this is still just growing out as a single bud. So it can cost you time if you don't do it right.
Yeah, I think it's just better to top, but yeah, essentially it's
Yeah.
fuck. I missed any. You didn't get the whole top. You left a little bit too much on, and that's grown into more nodes.
Yeah.
I hope that explains it. Anything to add to that one, Billy?
Yeah, that's why I use the scalpel, mate. Then I know I haven't fucking missed.
Yeah, that's why it's good to let it grow just a little bit. You don't want it exactly on the node. Let it go a little bit past, a couple of centimeters past, so you can see where the main stem is, and then you can just cut the main stem then above the 2 side shoots. And
if you see blood, you missed.
Why would you see blood, bro?
He's got the scalpel.
I've got the scalpel, yeah.
He's gonna cut his finger and shit. Jesus.
It's the wrong stem you cut off there,
You
and
missed.
it's like,
Yeah. So don't worry about the actual stem, because you can cut that pretty long, and it'll just die off. And then, like Billy mentioned, when he does his, he cuts above the node above it, leaves a bit of the long stem, and then it will just die off by itself, while the side shoots carry on. So let it grow a little bit longer if you're unsure of what to do. But yeah, it's just do a top, nice and easy. Another one can cook from Cookie Grow. If I was to mainline, what's the benefit of waiting until the 5th node to top? All right, the main line is you're going to top the plant, and then you're going to train and you're going to get rid of the first and the second nodes. You know, like I explained earlier with the nodes. You're going to get rid of the first and second one, keep the third one. But the plant grows to the 5th node, then you top it at the 3rd and get rid of this other stuff. And the reason why you do that is essentially, if you train those 2 side shoots, which should already be quite long when the plant's grown to the 5th node, when you train those, you're going to put pressure on that main stem. And if it hasn't grown thick enough, then it's going to split easily, or split the main stem straight down the middle. And if that does happen, then just tape it back up. Don't worry, don't panic. It will fix itself. Tape it up. But you don't want it to happen, and that's the thing. And this is why you wait until you get to the 5th node, because by the 5th node, that 3rd node which you are trimming, which you're actually topping at, is going to be a lot thicker and sturdier. It's not just going to be a newly grown node, so it's less likely to split. That's what I make of it. And of course, the side shoots would have been grown a little bit more as well, because as I said, you're going to top there at the 3rd, but you're going to get rid of the 4th and the 5th node, which is a lot of plants, and then you're going to get rid of the 1st and the 2nd as well. So you want some nice side shoots and some leaves on that 3rd node. So it's not necessarily just growing it to the 5th, but to get enough growth on the 3rd as well. Hope you know what I'm saying. You know what? You ever done this, Marco? You do mainlining? You do manifolding?
Yeah, I did a back in the day. Like I remember, and I like that you explained that, because I remember manifold, and I remember everybody would try to get this perfect, 6 or 4, evenly distributed on both sides. And back then, that was a big thing. People would split, and then I see now that everyone's ingenuity has kicked in, and so now you wait to that 5th, so you go to that odd node, and that way you don't have that even split like that too. I like that. That's dope. But no, that's something like back then, when I was first getting into growing, I've seen it done. I was like, oh, I want to try that, but it just wasn't for me, you know what I mean? But I've done it. But I like it, man. It's really good, and
It's
certain
tidy, isn't it?
situations,
Tidy.
it's like that bonsai again, it just takes it to that next level.
Yeah, man. What have you done a main line before, Billy?
Yeah, I do it now and again to a plant, just because the way I perpetual grow, it's just nice to have a little. But I'll keep it small if I do that, just so it's easy to sort of handle, if you know what I mean. So I don't, after I've sort of done the original topping and all training and stuff, and the mainlining part, I sort of whack into flower quite soon. So I don't have to have a massive flowering plant everywhere. So that's the main reason people do mainline, because they want a really big plant with lots of heads. Really,
That's it. Just like 8 big fat colas rather than shitloads of stuff.
Yeah. But I normally just go for like small ones. Like I do that sometimes when I'm testing a plant to see if I like that strain. You know what I mean? Because you ain't gonna get a great yield off of it if you're doing it really quick. You know what I mean? So
it's a fun way to grow, man. If you've tried the training and the screen of green, and you want to try something else, mainline's fun. Mainline's a nice, tidy, efficient way to grow. When you've come to the stage, like after 4 or 5 grows, and you're like, oh my God, I can't be asked to do another fucking harvest. I can't be asked to trim all these fucking buds again. Then do a mainline, because you're just going to be left with like big buds with a lot less trimming to do. Gosh. So it's efficient in its own way. Give it a shot. It might be the way for you. You don't know until you try it, so give it a shot as well. But definitely a fun way to grow.
Lots of info on that. Lots of good tutorials online. You can get plenty of mainline info out there from you guys too as well.
Yeah. But for now, especially you guys who are following the series as we go along, and you're just doing some topping and training, don't worry about that right now. You're just doing a little bit of training. You're not going all mainline on it and shit. So yes, just continue what you're doing right now. Just a little bit of, top it once, a little bit of training to them side shoots, and we'll cover more on the next episode.
That's right. Get the basics solid, and then you can
Mhm.
move on.
That's it, and get a good foundation, and then you can expand from it. When you have some cannabis in some jars that you can use, then you can experiment. But for now, just trying to get you some nice weed grown. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Don't mess up that first harvest, man. Gotta have that
hmm
one.
Right, so we've got another one here. This is from How Grow It. When topping, I know to wait for the fifth node and then top at a third node, and this is he's speaking against mainline specifically. But once you've done that, do you remove the growth from the first and second nodes, and well as well, so you only have the growth of the third node? And I think we covered that. Let me just finish his question here. And I hope when you're mainlining, and do you repeat this? Again, waiting for the fifth node to appear, then topping at the third and removing the growth. Essentially, yes, mate, that's what it is, right? So when you're doing this mainline, like we explained, you're going to grow it till it's got 5 nodes. That's where the leaves are coming out side by side on the main stem. 5 nodes. And then you're going to top at the third one. So you want to cut halfway in between the fourth and the third node. That'll be a good place to start. That shit's going to grow away. Then you're going to get rid of the first node and the second node as well. So all you're left with is the third node. And this will be 2 big fan leaves with 2 side shoots. They're going to differ in size, but let's say just like an inch or 2 in length. And then you're going to grow those side shoots out until they get... and people go to the 5th node on this. I don't think it's as important. You can just go to the 4th node and top at the 3rd. And... top of the 3rd and get rid of the 2nd, but you're keeping the 1st and the 3rd on the side shoots. There's other ways to do it as well. It's like that's not the only way. Some people will grow those out a little bit more. That like those side shoots of the side shoots will grow out a little bit more. And same thing again. The 1st and the 3rd get kept topped at the 3rd with the 2nd one removed. And if you grow the plant nice and happy and healthily, and all the growth is even, then that look fucking lovely as it's spread out across the medium. It looks just training, but it's difficult to do. That's it looks like spider web in it. It's complex when you do that kind of mainline or manifold, though. All right, I think I babbled for a bit too long about that there. Is it all good?
It was a little bit babbly, but
that explains it though, right?
Yeah, that was a good
Can you
answer.
like visualize it in your head what's going on, you know? I hope you can.
Yeah, as you was talking about, was all visualizing it really hard. Well,
Nice.
lads.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I can see it right now. A spider web plant. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question there. How grows it? Yeah, Monkey does the main line quite often, so he would have been able to answer this question quite well. But if you ask him over at the forum, I think he will be able to help you out if you got any specific questions over there. And again, same for everybody else. Just head over to percysgrowroom.com. Yeah, there's Deirdre's Neck in the chat. Just a shout out to Deirdre's Neck. Haven't seen you for a while, mate. I hope you're all good. You know? Yeah.
Wind your neck in.
You know, it's just a strange name, Deirdre's Neck. And that's why I remember the guy, because of his strange name. Yes. Welcome back, Deirdre's Neck. Good to see you. But yes, another question. One more from Filmy Bowls here. We have... Oh, God. Here we go. Brace yourselves, everybody. Dear HOHG, I was watching Jurassic Park the other day with the grandkids, and I realized that we know what dinosaurs look like from fossils and old bones, but how do we know what they sound like? And why haven't we seen any leaf print fossils of cannabis plant? Everything grew so big back then. Just imagine. Billy, you want to take this one away? What do you think about it?
I'm not really sure there, Phil, to be honest. Like, it's a bit difficult to answer. How about you, Marco?
Well,
I reckon
Yeah, what do you
big.
think, Mark? I'm passing this on to you guys before I go on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, they said something about they did use something to make the dinosaur voice. They used a combination of current birds and some lizard.
Right, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I heard something they did, but okay, yeah, that's good. But the rest of that, I'm not sure. But you're gonna have to take that one away, Mackie.
Well, I think it's just going to be based on what a big lizard would sound like, because we do have some big lizards like Komodo dragon and things like that. It's just going to be a guess of like what kind of size their throat would have been, what size their esophagus would have been, what size their vocal cords would have been from that, and then just making up the best estimate possible, right?
chickens close, they might use like a cockerel or something
Yeah,
type.
yeah, birds are just dinosaurs, man, just evolved, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially
So
chickens. Chickens are
yeah.
dinosaurs, you know. And no, I think and they don't
Crocodiles.
even really know what dinosaurs look like. I mean, they can get a brief idea, but there's some controversy of whether dinosaurs were reptiles or whether they had like feathers on them and shit. You know, so maybe they sounded like an ostrich or something. You know,
Mm.
I don't know. So how do we know what they sound like? I don't know. But why we haven't seen leaf fossils of cannabis plants? Fossils are like millions of years old because it takes millions of years for the process to happen for something to fossilize. And I don't think there was cannabis plants around back then, especially as we know
Well,
it now.
there was a new study that showed fossils can happen much quicker than the scientists previously thought. This
Really?
guy,
Cool.
yeah, the way, yeah, there's I need to find that. We can do that article next time, but I thought that was interesting.
Mm-mm.
So you kind of try to put holes into the whole millions of years thing.
Yeah, who
Wow.
was it? That was it. Fucking what's that name? Ken Ham? Is that his name?
I'll have to look. I
Yeah,
can't
fucking
remember.
hell. Just some random New Earth creationist guy. It's like, oh yeah, look, fossils can happen in 20 years. Look at this.
Yeah, it wasn't that quick, but it was something different. I had to find that.
Yeah, man, interesting process and interesting question as well. You know, you go into like evolution that's been around for millions and millions of years. But the cannabis plant as it is, I don't know how many millions of years does that go back. Yeah, I think they've got some fossils of ferns and things like that. But back then, grass didn't even exist. I mean, like the Cretaceous period and shit. Grass wasn't even a thing until the Jurassic, I think. Like
Yeah, I can't.
64 million years ago when dinosaurs wiped out. 125 million years ago or something for the Jurassic.
Yeah,
Madness,
it would
man.
have been after grass because cannabis obviously is a form of
Mm,
grass. It's like a hay type. So
yeah.
yeah,
We know
interesting.
nothing really about what happened millions of years ago. We just guess and teach it as facts. Indeed, Deirdre's neck,
Yeah,
I agree. We can have some
But
good
then,
idea, but we can never be certain of it.
did
right.
anything exist back then? That we might be in, like as you say, Mackie, at some sort of matrix
Yeah,
or
man. Simulation.
so
Yeah.
a
Never
simulation.
know.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. It's the only thing that makes sense, man. Yeah, the Earth is allegedly 4.5 billion years old. That's what they say. And life on it, like the complex life we have now, has only been around for 500 million years, they say. So, and
A
that's
lot of space.
yeah, it's a lot of time, man. There could have been a whole completely different life form at some point that
That
existed
came and
before
went.
that, you know?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
wouldn't
it could
know.
have.
We'd have no fucking idea.
Well, I was talking that to my wife. I said, man, if that happened, cities would go down. Eventually, you wouldn't see anything but iron ore, steel, and silica from the glass.
Hmm.
Like eventually, if there was a city and enough millions of years passed by, that could just end up being shit that we think we're mining out of the ground. But that was
No,
an old.
because the fucking the plate tectonics, you know, that shit where like they eventually all flip over and turn into lava and just get burnt up and
There you go.
you know, everything just gets recycled at some point.
Yeah, man.
How
So
many
no,
billions of years do you say for that to happen? A billion years for them all to flip? Okay, so it's happened 4 times. You know what I mean?
exactly.
That's crazy shit, man.
Crazy.
Damn.
A little
Never.
bit scary, eh? That the crusts are gonna flip. You may be on it at that stage. You
It's
don't
doing
know.
it right now. This is where the Himalaya comes from. It's just two continental
Yeah.
plates just smashing together to make this huge mountain range that we have. You know
And
what I
they're one
mean?
of our newest mountains. The Himalayas are not
Mm-mm.
old. Like our
That's right.
mountains here in the Appalachians in North America are way older than the Himalayas.
Everyone
Yeah.
goes hiking and skiing, going yay, and then like boom.
Then they
So,
get flipped.
Yeah,
lovely place to
interesting
live, though.
question. Look where you sent us there, Phil. Yeah, yeah, question about fossils and shit. Well, I think that's all the questions we have, right? Oh no, we got one
Wow.
here. From the Big Bad Wolfie. He asked, "What is the name of the small leaf of a seed first produces, and do you class that as a node?" That's the cotyloidons. It's called, and no, that's just like it's just a little bit of food essentially, or and a way for the seedling to gather some light. And then yeah, that's not counted as a node. It's when the first leaves come out. That's the first node, and then you know the true leaves and shit. you'll know what I mean when you see the plant, you know. But the first round ones, cotyloidans, they're not considered true leaves or anything. It's just the seedling leaves essentially. They'll fall off eventually. Imagine if they didn't. Imagine if they carried on growing. You just had these big round leaves at the bottom of your plant. That'd be cool. That would look weird.
I remember, like, when you first start growing, you note the date when the cotyledons are falling off. You're like, oh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then eventually
Some of them are tough as well. Some of them last for ages. So, but yeah, I think that's about everything. We covered the topping and training. We answered the listener mail questions here. I think that is just about everything to add. Is there anything more? Anything to add here?
No, that's
No.
perfect.
Yeah, I think it's all covered. Well, let's go to the outro then. Let's do it. I'll just fade this music professionally. There we go. Outro fading professional. Nice. Damn good show. Damn good show.
So you mix all that. You do it live, Mackie? Like, so you got guys listening live, and then you fade it, like you fading all the.
Yeah, with some of the stuff. Yeah, I just fade it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in chatting shit as
Yeah.
normal. Like, yeah.
Just fade it down there. So it sounds proper professional. If I didn't say so, people would think, oh, that must be programmed in because that was so fucking smooth. And sometimes it isn't smooth at all. It's fucked. But you know,
or leave it playing loud.
It's part of the
like,
fun
no
of
one
the
can
show.
hear.
And it's like it has to be
Yeah.
live. We have to just do the
Makes
fucking
it fun,
bullshit.
yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. Sometimes we make dreadful. I say we. Sometimes I make dreadful mistakes. Like music's playing in the background while people are talking, and all sorts of crazy shit. It's fun. It's fun.
Yes, yeah.
God damn. Well, thanks for coming to join us, Marco. It's been a good show, man. We appreciate you coming to spend some time with us, and you're always welcome. So if you're free any Sunday and you want to come and chat some shit, you're always welcome, bro.
I would do it, man. Thank y'all. Thank you, Billy, for having me. Good to talk to you again, Billy. And
Yeah, man.
I'll let you go, Mackie, for sure, bro.
Yeah, man. And thanks
Good
to everybody, of course, out there in the chat for listening. And thanks to all those who sent in the listener mail questions as well. We appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very much. And if you want to send us in listener mail for next week, then, it's over on Percy's, over on the Discord server. It's all in the description, just down there. Click there. Y said, you guys have really brightened my day up. Thanks for always being here. High and homegrown. Go to Percy's garden and check out Making Labs. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks, Y. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. And like you mentioned there, we're here every week, Sunday at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So if you're free, come and join us. And we'll talk about some news and some grow guides again. And of course, you can find us on all major podcast networks as well. Check that out if you wanted to. That's it, I think. Nothing to add. I'll add this 15-minute music and I'll fade it in, all professional. You know how to roll. It takes like 10 or 15 seconds to kick in, so you have to like babble a little bit. Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. Like button, subscribe, and all of that. Where can people find you, Marco? Instagram.com/
microbesbymarco.com and Instagram
microbesbymarco.com. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Sweet. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Wave, waving, baby.
Waving.
you.